This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbott.
I'd like to punch him in the face.
Well, let's get back to it.
Torrential rainfall in Spain has caused severe flooding and chaos in several areas of Zaragoza. I'll stop that now. This is after heavy storms swept through the region. More than 300 school children at a summer camp had to be evacuated to safety following the extreme weather that saw 5 inches of rain fall in just 1 hour. The historic area, the centre of Tarazona, was submerged underwater after over 3 inches of rain fell in just 30 minutes. Streets were turned into torrents of raging water, sweeping away cars and cafe chairs and tables. Ground floor residences and garages were flooded with water. Hail, 2 centimetres in diameter, and gusty winds were reported across Aragon and Catalonia. And the bad weather comes after an intensive heat wave caused the mercury to soar to as high as 46 centigrade at the end of June in Spain. But, you know, some oily charlatan whose political party is almost entirely funded by fossil fuel interests says that climate change isn't real, so we're safe. Meanwhile, sweltering Brits will be hit with more heat wave misery as the Met Office has issued its latest long-range forecast.
Oh, no.
Forecasters warned of continuing hot spells and heat waves through to the end of July, particularly in the southeast. This will increase the chances of clamminess and sweaty palms in your underwear getting in a wedge, and people saying, gosh, it's hot. The Met Office said in its long-range forecast between July the 15th and the 24th that there would be just hints of a break from the oppressive heat that will bake the country. Fresher air and scattered showers are expected in parts of the UK, in particular Scotland, and particularly Glasgow. Southerly regions are expected to remain warm with a higher than normal chance of occasional hot spells or heat waves. A Met Office spokesmodel said, changeable weather conditions are expected across the UK at the end of the month, beginning next, when periods of fine and dry weather are mixed with rain, some heavy with thunder, lightning, very, very frightening.
Rock and roll!
Temperatures are expected to be above normal, and it could be hot at times in parts of the south and the east. And try not to complain, because if it was cold and wet, then you really would have something to whine about. And assuming we all live long enough, this could go down as one of those summers that people still talk about in 10 years. I promised Meghan news yesterday. These are headlines all from the one day. How feminist Meghan Markle has reinvented herself as the new Martha Stewart, according to expert. Revealed the royal family member who proved a compromise with Harry and Meghan would never work. Harry and Meghan's final betrayal of the Queen. Couple committed unforgivable act, source claims, and things were never the same again between the couple and the late monarch. Meghan Markle's favourite Le Creuset casserole dish is on sale for Amazon's Prime Day for a huge discount. Shop the range and our other top picks. Queen's uncharacteristically damning verdict on Meghan. Balmoral guest claims the late monarch raised eyebrows with her remarks on Harry and his wife a month before she died. Why was Meghan Markle even at the polo? 2 awkward polo incidents which left viewers confused about her presence. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's long list of royal wedding blunders, from Tiaragate to the divorcee's 2-white wedding dress. Why the Queen was not at all content at Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's wedding, according to Mail's royal experts. Meghan Markle mocked as she flaunts her sold-out as-ever spread in embarrassing promo video. Did Dolly Parton snub Meghan Markle's invite to appear on her Netflix show? And by contrast, such an amazing moment. Adoring pictures show teary moment. Kate Middleton broke royal protocol in the nicest way at Wimbledon. Isn't she an absolute dream? 0345 6060 973. When will it ever stop? Croydon. Hello, Robert.
Hi, Nick. It's been a long time since I've last spoken with you.
Ah, yes.
I mean, you drive through Streatham, so you know how crazy drivers are up in the area.
Yes, always grip the steering wheel a little more tightly if you have to drive through Streatham.
Yes, I've got something to add for the people in Croydon. If you're driving along a road and you've got a car in front of you,
yes,
and there's someone waiting to get into that car, they just open the door, with total disregard that you're approaching them.
Yes.
So you either got to brake or swerve around them.
Yeah. Why do people do that? I don't really get the concept of as though they are somehow protected if they open a door. I mean, if you can't swerve around them or stop, then you're going to take them and the door off.
Exactly. And when I learned to drive in my driving lessons, you stand at the back of the car or the front of the car and you wait till there's a gap where you can jump into the car. And
correct, Amundo.
So, yeah, someday someone's going to get injured doing this.
Yes, and you're calling me from Croydon.
Yes, I know. I'm in the red zone.
The dead zone. Yeah, the dead zone. Be very, very cautious about driving through Streatham. Even though you live in Croydon, which is a crazy area of town to be living in, Streatham is one step removed. It's right at the tippy top of crazy areas to drive through. I don't know why. I really don't. But I mean, maybe it's. Maybe it's sort of confirmation bias. Maybe every time I see something crazy in Streatham, I think, oh, well, that's Streatham, that is. But if I'm driving through, Camden, I don't think that crazy thing. I don't think, oh, well, that's Camden, that is. I just let it go. Maybe that's it.
But the thing is, in Streatham, you've got the speed cameras, so you shouldn't be speeding along there. I mean, I remember when there were no speed cameras and I used to bomb through there going to club into London. And
I'm sorry, what now? You used to bomb through there? Oh, my God, you're part of the problem.
Now, this is in the early 90s, so there's no speed bumps, no cameras, so you can Health
and safety was just a glint in some official's eye. Yeah, I know.
Exactly.
All right, well, from now on, Robert, please, for the benefit of all other road users, take the bus. Promise me you'll do that.
No way.
Is that a yes? Another cooperative customer. Thanks a lot, Robert. Messages from last night. Ian in Plymouth says, I lived in Spain for 14 years. They have desalination plants all around the coasts that turn seawater potable. It's good, but don't drink it. Luckily, water in glass bottles are cheap and get delivered. This is because somebody yesterday called in and said that their water bill in Spain was something like £900 a month. £900 a month?
What?
Yeah. And some other people called in and said that's complete nonsense. It's not even remotely that expensive. In fact, it's significantly cheaper than what we've got here. But then isn't everything? Now, there is an explanation as to why that might be, and it's coming up in a moment. On that subject of living in Spain, this says, we have better infrastructure in general here in Spain. We have cheaper water, pay very little council tax. 90% of households have fibre optic internet and excellent phone reception. Not bad for a third world country. Yeah, and your roads aren't covered in potholes either. And they've got, and motorways have got flowers all the way down the central reservation. It's a wonder to see. Mick says, Nick, I sent you the stand and ting. Oh, this is the joke that I sort of fell over because it took me by surprise. And then I didn't tell you the end of it until the very, very last moment on yesterday's show. So if you missed it, then you're going to have to listen to yesterday's show. We put the shows, the Friday and Saturday night shows, up the internet, by the way, which makes it easier for you to listen to them because we take the news and most of the ads out. It's only available on Global Player or the new LBC app, which you can get both for free from your app store. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Ask for Nick Abbott, the Whole Show podcast, and the idea is we take the news and most of the ads out, mostly, which means it's quicker to listen to, so you'll get to the punchline much faster. So if you didn't hear that joke, then it's yesterday's, at the very end. Podcast is available right now on an internet near you. Anyway, Mick says, I sent you that joke eons ago. You're like my dad. He never gave me any encouragement. I invented the wheel once, and all he could say was, and where do you think you're going on that? Jenny in Carmarthen says, fabulous weather. Just seen Andre Rieu in concert in Maastricht. Now you on the radio. What is there not to like about life? Oh, I've had one or two vinos as well.
Booze.
Yeah, I've seen those Andre Rieu concerts. All the audience looks smashed to me, like they're having a high old time. Did he do this one? Oh, marvellous. When the whole band on stage gets into this, It's like an otherworldly experience. It's like being blasted through space. Okay, enough. Plenty. A little bit too much, in fact. This says thousands of ladybirds descended on Lord's cricket ground. Could you do your job with them flying around your head? Job? Cricket's not a job, it's a pastime. Talking about. Yeah, apparently ladybirds stopped the cricket, which must have been a tremendous relief for those who were stuck inside watching it. This says, on the subject of Spain, the food is relatively cheaper than other countries. Oh, no, that's about this country. Our food. Yes, because of the good work of the... Well, I don't know. Because of the work of the supermarkets, which try to... I don't know about good work. It depends on where you stand, I suppose. If you're a supplier, then it might not seem so good. If they're forever beating you down on price, such that you can't run a farm for profit anymore. But, parking that... For us consumers, they have done a tremendous job fighting each other to the death about taking a penny off here and a penny off there. So we do have some really cheap food in this country. We've got used to eating very well for a very small amount. And this text says, the food is relatively cheaper than other countries, but no one can afford to buy a house. So we shall eat well in a tent. And Far in Hillingdon says, I'm sorry if I'm repeating other suggestions for the Make America Great geezer, but how about Trumpty Numpty? Yeah, okay, that's on the list. Trumpty Numpty. I'm going to have to get a bigger piece of paper. So far I've got Uncle Scam, the Baby Tornado, Donito Mussolini, Trumple Thinskin, the Screaming Mimi, the Tangerine Scream, Ancient Orange, Jaffa the Gut, Jesus Trump Superstar, the Powder Puff President, Agolf Twitler, Hair-Brained Hairstack, Fibonacci, the Bleating Cheeto, Desperate Don, Donny Doolittle, the Terracotta Toddler, Pumpkin Hitler, Yosemite Scam, Oranga Taco, Emperor Squeaky Tanks, Julius Squeezer, the Creosote Cretin, His Majesty, and Mussolini. I think that's all. And Emperor Palpatine Hands, which is the one he likes the least.
Don't be rude.
Sorry about that, Donny.
On LBC, call 0345 6060 973.
Everything is going extremely well.
Yeah, not my fault. That was an advert programmer's error. Palma in Alicante says, Nick, I live in Spain and my water bill was €67 for 3 months. This woman is talking rubbish. And this woman was that woman last night who was talking, well, she was just telling us how much her bill was for her. But it was not common. And there is an explanation as to why that might have been so very, very high, £900 or euro, €900 a month for a water bill in Spain. This says, Nick, my water bill in Spain for 2 months, for a family of 3, €39. Yeah, so there's a lot of people who are disagreeing with what she's saying. But there may be a reason. I think I've deleted it. I have. But the reason was more or less that she had to have desalinated water and she filled a pool with it. And desalinated water, very, very expensive because it takes, for some reason, a massive amount of energy to take the salt out of water. Don't ask me why. I mean, all I know is what Donny knows.
I know nothing.
He don't know nothing, and neither do I.
What do I know about it? All I know is what's on the internet.
All I know is what's on the internet. It's not like I'm a doctor or anything.
I'm not a doctor.
So that's the reason why, because she had to have desalinated water and it went into a pool, and that's why the bill was £900 for a month, €900. Yvonne in Hastings says, hello, Nick, reference Donald's parliamentary speech. Who would be brave enough to tell him, no thanks, Donny, you can't make a speech? Would that get you on a list? Yeah, almost certainly. Don't walk past any windows above the first floor. Jill in Devon says, talking of coincidence, I recently finished reading a book where the world spins slower and slower. The days are longer and longer and all the plants die. It was nearly as depressing as real life. Jill, it can't be that bad. You live in Devon. Oh, and so does Rose. Hello, Rose.
Oh, hello, Nick. Just quickly, the Carbuncle on Humanity is my name for you-know-who.
Right. Well, that's definitely not making the list. It's just way too many syllables. The Carbuncle on Humanity.
I came over all peculiar last night.
Really?
Yeah, it was too late to phone anybody. Mm-hmm. It's the heat, you see.
Oh, you mean you actually felt a bit woozy?
Oh, weird. No, it was like my head was full of cotton wool and I couldn't remember things. I thought, I'm losing my mind.
Yes.
You know, and I couldn't get back to reality. And the only way I could do that would be to talk to somebody. I thought if I do fall asleep, I might wake up and find I'm completely insane.
And so you made your first call to me?
No, I did ring somebody. I rang the Samaritans.
Oh, blimey.
Yeah, because I have, from time to time rung them, and on a Saturday late at night, it usually takes ages.
Yeah, I imagine they're quite busy. So Are you dehydrated?
Well, I thought I was drinking enough water, but possibly not. I don't know. But I do think we have to be awfully careful. I mean, I simply can't be in that heat at all. Sometimes I'm sitting outside and you think, oh, gosh, it's hot. And then it's almost as though somebody opens an oven door and it immediately gets even hotter. Have you experienced that? Because I had that just the other day. We were sitting outside and I was thinking, oh, this is getting a bit hot. I might go inside. And in that very moment, it was like somebody had put a hot fan on and the temperature immediately jumped a couple of degrees. And it wasn't just me. The other people sitting around the table thought, yeah, I just felt that as well. It was like somebody opened an oven door. Oh, no, I don't think I have exactly, because I was thinking, obviously wrongly, that maybe you realising how hot it was then made you realise actually even more how hot it was.
No, there was a definite jump in temperature.
Wow.
From 1 minute, from 1 second really to the next. It's like, and it hit us all. And did you feel that? And I went, yeah, God. And so we had to repair inside, Rose.
Yes, I know. I just can't do it at all. And I just feel that you could be taken by surprise and suddenly collapse, when you think you're all right. That's the thing.
Wet your hair, because that really cools you down. Wet your forearms. I mean, you don't have to soak your hair. Just wet your hands and run it through your hair so that there's a bit of moisture in there, and that'll cool you right down. Cool your brain down, Rose.
Brilliant, yes. Thank you, I'll do that. Yes. And now the other thing, Nick, is that the swallows have not nested in the place where I go to see them every year.
The swallows?
Yes. And so I'm very, very sad because it makes me... I live for that, really.
I'm a bit dischuffed that the robin round my way has not... they appeared early in the spring and then disappeared, because quite often it's there all summer, just kind of bouncing around, waiting for me to unearth something disgusting that it can eat.
Yes.
But it's sort of disappeared, and I wonder whether its eggs didn't hatch, or when they do hatch they scarper, or I don't really have any...
well, they do. Yes,
they?
You do find they disperse.
Right.
And he will come back when it gets cold, I expect. They do tend to disperse when the babies are born. That's happened to a pair of wheatears that are on the place where the swallows should be. Not in the same place. Obviously, the swallows are in the porch, the church porch. But what happened was just quickly, the nests that they'd been refurbishing for the last few years every time,
Refurbishing?
Yes.
It's a fixer-upper.
Well, yes, because they're...
Do it up, sell it on. Yeah.
They're quite serviceable when their babies have left the nest. But then when they or another pair come the next May, they build up the sides a bit more. But what happened was, after the whole thing had finished this year, soon after the babies had fledged, and this is the joy to be watching that happening, the nests all crumbled. They said, right, we've had enough, and disappeared to the floor.
Right.
So they haven't come back.
Have to start again from scratch. Yeah, the birds do that for a living, though, don't they? They're plenty used to that.
Yes, but obviously swallows have this thing where they can use the nest. Right? I expect they've gone to somebody's barn somewhere. In any case, half the time they can't get in the church porch because the wind keeps... They need about 6 goes because the wind keeps blowing them away as they...
Well, that's some
try to
stupid
fly
bird.
in.
So they should relocate to a more clement area.
Well, I know.
You want to pass that on, Rose?
Oh, I miss them so much. It's like dead up there, you know.
Right. In the churchyard, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
that's where death is. People go there to respect death, don't they?
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Yes, talking of death.
Oh, there's more.
Oh, sorry. I'll go if you like.
Talking of death, yeah. I think we'll draw the line right there. Thanks a lot, Rose. 0345 6060 973. Final message from last night. The planet is speeding up. No, there was news on this programme last night that the planet is actually speeding up. And if you think the days are getting shorter, well, you're not delusional. They are. But for a very, very small amount. The planet is speeding up because of all of those crazy foreigners driving on the wrong side of the road, says this one. We humble Brits are doing our best to counter this by driving on the correct side of the road, but alas, the 20-mile-an-hour speed limits are not helping. Do the math, it says. I most certainly will do nothing of the sort. 0345 6060 973. Merthyr Tydfil. Hello, Jeff.
Well, there's Nick. Cheer Rose up a bit. I was in the Goose today for the folk festival.
Folk festival.
Boring.
Wow, that sounds terrible. A festival of folk music. Well, a lot of it, you mean?
We won't talk about it. But the swifts were absolutely... do you know the bird, the swift?
No.
Okay.
Wait, at the folk festival, did they sing All Around My Hat? Did they?
No, Dirty Old Town. It always, every group that came on sang Dirty Old Town.
I'm unfamiliar with that one. I don't really know very much about folk music. I mean, is John Martin, does he count as folk? Because I would say he was more sort of soft rock.
Well, there were some interesting people on there, you know, I have to say that. But came about 6 o'clock, I began to fry. They'd sent me to get wasp traps.
Traps? You don't mean traps, do you?
Yeah, I never heard of one before. Anyway, they sent me to B&Q, and I came back with these 5 wasp traps.
What's a wasp trap? Wasp trap look like?
It's a bottle. It's a plastic bottle.
Yeah.
It's a rip-off with a plastic top that you fill the bottle with some liquid that supposedly is attractive, and then you screw the top back on, and once the wasp goes in...
It can't get back out again. That seems particularly cruel. Why would you do that?
Well...
I mean, punishing them individually for the crimes of the whole swarm. That seems unreasonable.
Well, can I just tell you what happens?
Yes.
If you want to... You can take the top off and let them go again.
Oh, well, what would be the point of that?
Well, the place was inundated. I don't know. My garden is inundated with wasps.
I tell you what actually works. Now, it may be circumstantial evidence, but it seems to me to actually really help. Have you got one of them death bats, the electrified tennis rackets?
Yeah, but you kill them with that.
No, you don't. If it's a small thing like a clothes moth, then they explode. I'm sorry about this, vegans, but that's very, very satisfying. They just pop. There's no other way of catching them because you can see them on the wall, and when you approach, they fly off the wall, and then they just disappear. It's like, where the hell's it gone? But if you've got the death bat, then you can get them. It's the only thing that works. But it doesn't kill things that are bigger. It won't kill like a blue bottle, and it won't kill a wasp. But it does teach it a very strong lesson, which I do believe it then goes and communicates to the rest of its wasp mates, and then they don't bother you anymore.
Oh, well, the idea of this thing is that you can take the top off and the wasp can fly away.
Right.
You leave the top on if you want to kill the wasp.
But I really don't see what would be the point of... so you just amuse yourself with a little light torture, and then you let them go afterwards. Right.
Well, the idea was that they would be attracted into these bottles, which were strategically placed around the fort.
Yeah, and leave you alone. Right.
And then, go to them.
I don't believe that such a thing would work. Did it work?
No.
No. Okay.
The thing is, I was in the middle of Merthyr, and one of these wasps had crawled up my trouser leg.
Okay, don't wish to know any further.
I got out and I took my trousers off, but it was the main A4 sentry, and everybody was looking at me, and they looked impassive. I looked at all the faces.
I think it's called NFM, Jeff. Normal for Merthyr. Gotta go. Thanks for that.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Yes, I want to talk about our preparedness for war. Now, it's not. I won't get very, very serious, but I want to talk about water. I want to talk about tariffs, and I want to talk about this, that, and the other, and plenty else besides. So, don't let me leave without talking about all of the above. Cumbernauld, Andrew.
Oh, hello again, Nick. How are you doing tonight?
Very well, thanks.
I've just got to start with my call with a big shout out to Lucy in West London, who is definitely one of your fans.
Oh, yes.
Yes, so hopefully I'll hear her dulcet tones on the radio one day, but in the meantime, you've definitely got another fan there.
Okay, I'll put her on the list.
And it was just, one of my main things was to see if you have an opinion about the film Talk Radio, if you've ever seen it. It's a film that stars Eric Bogosian and John C. McGinley.
Remind me.
It's him as the Chicago Talk Radio host.
Yeah. It's not the one where he gets shot, is it?
Yes.
Right. Spoiler alert.
Alert.
Whoops.
Spoiler alert.
It's a very old film, though, isn't it?
1988.
Right.
Yes, but it's one of my favourite films. I just wondered if you'd seen it or had any particular opinion on it.
I don't remember very much about it, other than that's what happened, and I probably saw it when it came out in 1988.
Yeah.
No, I don't really have a very strong opinion about it, other than shooting radio hosts, not a good idea.
No, we're not in favour.
No, let's hope it doesn't catch on.
No, definitely.
But I'm kind of surprised it hasn't, at least in America, because people take umbrage at anybody saying anything that they disagree with or that rocks their world view. So I'm a bit surprised that there hasn't been a lot more of that.
Yes, exercising your First Amendment rights somebody else will exercise their Second Amendment rights.
Correct, yes.
Yes. And I was also going to suggest, a good number of years ago, I went on a coach trip around New York.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the people I don't know if I've said this before, but one of the tour guides referred to Trump as being, I think, the world's richest graffiti artist.
Oh, because he puts his name on everything?
Because he puts his name on everything.
Right.
He tags everything, whether it's a building or a golf course or a stake or a university.
Yes. Yeah. I think he sold water at some point, didn't he? And plenty else besides, yeah.
Yes, he's good. All he wants to do is acquire stuff and stick his name on it.
Yeah, and almost the moment he does stick his name on it, it falls flat in its face.
Yes. So whether world's richest graffiti artist will be added to your list of names, maybe not, but right. I reckon there's an element of truth to it.
Yeah, me too. All right, thanks a lot, Andrew. 0345 6060 973. This text says, Nick, I've listened to that Stephen Wilson album. That's my favourite album of the year so far. It's called, I think it's called The Overview. It's just marvellous. I've listened to the Stephen Wilson album on your recommendation a few times over the last fortnight. Yesterday I realised that Disc 2 is just the same album but split into individual tracks. It's taken me a fortnight to work out I've been listening in its entirety twice every time I listen to it. Yeah, it took me a while to figure that out as well. Yeah. I don't really see the point. I mean, the album is 2 long tracks, all sort of segged together, and then there's a special extra deluxe edition, which are all of the tracks that make up those 2 tracks, separated into individual pieces. Why? Don't really get it. But anyway, it's a marvellous thing. And if you like Pink Floyd and Yes and Kate Bush and the Aphex Twin, then it's like all of those artists have been smashed into the same album. Steven Wilson. Very, very good. Let's have a call in Oregon. Hello, Andrew.
Hey there. How's it going?
Yes, hello there.
Hi, Nick. I'm just wondering how it is that we've got... what would have happened if Al Capone had just said, I'm running for president?
Well, you know? it would have looked exactly like this.
Absolutely. Exactly. That's kind of where it's at. I mean, I don't know, everyone's... Like, he just wants to be rich. I'm like, no, he wants to be like Mussolini, something like that. I mean, he's telling Bolsonaro, he's telling the Brazilians how to run the courts. He's already got Netanyahu out of court in Israel. I mean, this is nothing more than the international mafia shakedown country. Everyone in it, me in America, any taxes I pay, I'm just paying fealty to the local gang lord at this stage of the game.
Yeah, it would be a shame if something bad happened to you in your business. I mean, that's about the
that's already
the
happened to mine.
Yes.
I mean, I already had my stuff shut down by some screaming Trump supporters that would come on my land, threaten to kill me, call me all sorts of racist names.
What do you do?
And then demand... the house was illegally remodeled on my land, and they needed to hide the illegal remodel, so they just started trying to force me off the land so that I'd give them the land. It was encroaching. It wasn't even built on the property line properly and stuff, so they just needed to get me to give up 3 foot of land, so they just made up every story, accused me of throwing American flags on the ground. It was a MAGA flag with Donald Trump, which amusingly enough rolled up to just say rump at one stage on a flagstaff that was bent half staff. Very funny.
Well, that sounds that sounds like an alarming period you've just gone through there, Andrew. I would...
It is just what America is these days.
Yeah.
The idea of law doesn't matter. I had an arbitrator tell me, you don't get to have a defence. If you want to present a defence, we'll find you guilty. You have to pay the other side's fees. You don't expect that when you're waiting to provide a defence in arbitration.
Why are you in Springfield in Oregon in the first place? I mean, it's kind of like the middle of nowhere. It's a beautiful place, Oregon. There's no doubt about that, and it's very, very clean. And you can see the stars at night like nowhere I've ever been before. But it's cheap. A bit out of the way.
It's cheap. I managed to get some property here for dirt cheap. Yeah. Oregon. I'm a blacksmith, so I thought years ago, I thought I'd be able to do some sort of business making stuff in Oregon, essentially the third world of America, and selling it in the first world cities like San Francisco and Seattle.
Yes.
Oregon's like a small drip out of a puddle or the pond of genetics.
That's not really how I remember Oregon, but okay, if that's your lived experience. I was only there, for a brief month, but I loved it. I thought it was a wonderful place, but a bit sort of, like a tin shack, rusting.
It is. It is very shanty here. My place is a shanty. I'd be happy to have tin on the roof instead of that asphalt shingle stuff.
Right. Okay, well, I wish you all the best, Andrew. I think you're going to need it. Keep your head down. Don't open your mouth. Get protection. Simon in Bray says, I don't want to get all nostalgic, I don't want to get all nostalgic and old person about modern music, but I was watching the 40th anniversary of the Live Aid concert, which I remember watching live on television, and it made me think about how many of today's artists could stand and play and sing in front of a crowd that size without the assistance of voice enhancers and electronic wizardry, and do it for free. All those people banging on about how good Glastonbury is, I suggest you take a look at real musicians, how things have changed, says Simon. Well, all the stuff that I saw on Glastonbury was from ancient people. The kids were entirely forgettable. I mean, Charlie XCX or whatever she's called, I mean, that was just flat out embarrassing. I don't believe I've ever seen anything worse. And it was like somebody had just got up on stage at someone's birthday party. And without any preparation or idea of what she was doing, she just sort of leapt about the place. It was terrible. But all the people that really impressed me were, older than I am. Neil Young, for instance. He's ancient. And the Brian Jonestown Massacre and plenty of oldsters. I thought the audience looked really old, but then I guess if I was watching old bands, then they would have attracted an older crowd at Glastonbury. But it did seem quite old overall. I wonder how all of those people fared sleeping on the ground. Not very well, I imagine. This text says, I followed your advice, but it was still really hot today. I tried putting water on my forearms, but I only have 2. Oh. Clitheroe. Hello, Steve.
Hello, Nick.
Steve.
I've got to take you off speaker. There's something weird happens when you say, hello, Steve. I was listening to you, then reading out a text, and then all of a sudden it must be the delay system, so my apologies for that. I wasn't ready. That's the second week on the run.
Yeah, we run a delay for obvious reasons, about 6 or 7 seconds, something like that.
Yeah, but you give me a heart attack when you just go, Steve, like that. So, yeah. Anyway, just a warning for other callers.
Okay.
Last night I was really interested in all the talk about Live Aid and everything. Years and years ago, I think it was like the early 90s, I read a brilliant book. In fact, I think it's the best autobiography I've ever read, and it was Bob Geldof's, and it's called Is That It? And the title for the book comes from, on the afternoon, he performed with the Boomtown Rats, and he's got that sea of people in front of him on the stage. I think it's before Queen were on. And there's a part of the song, I Don't Like Mondays, where the music just stops.
Yes.
And what he did was he just held his hand out in front of him, and he's looking at his hand, and beyond his hand he can just see these 80,000 people staring back at him. And that's where he got the title for the book from, Is That It? Because it was such a profound moment in his life. He thought, this has got to be it. This has got to be peak being Bob Geldof. Nothing's ever going to beat this.
Right.
And the book is just brilliant, and I recommend it to anybody. If you've not read it yourself, Nick, it is superb. And it's full of so many brilliant anecdotes as well from the day. So, for example, Queen is we talked about it last night, the most memorable act.
Yeah.
Well, they'd never even agreed to do it, Bob Geldof and Harvey Goldstein, they just held a press conference about a month before and just started announcing these acts who were on, Queen being one of them. And the manager phoned straight up to Harvey, what's his name?
Goldsmith.
Harvey Goldsmith, and rings him on and goes, what are you going on about? We're not doing this concert. What even is this? They didn't even know what it was. The whole thing was chaos, and the book, it's because it was written quite fresh, within the decade of it happening. It is such a good.
Well, I suppose it's easy to get somebody if you've got somebody else of that ilk. Like if you say, we've got the Who, then Queen might say, yeah, okay. But I think they did a lot of that, didn't they? He said, well, we've got the Who, and so you're the manager of Queen, so you'll say yes. And then he put the phone down, and they picked up the phone to the Who and said, well, we've got Queen. Now, would you like to do it too?
Yeah. It was just chaos, absolute chaos. But they had about a month to get it ready. So they had to, they had to do stuff like that. But another really funny story from that book is Dire Straits were playing. They were playing at Wembley Arena that night. Now, I don't know, you'll know this better than me, but I think Wembley Arena is quite close, isn't it?
Yeah, very near, yeah. But right. But, yeah.
So they had an hour of getting off stage at Wembley to get to the actual gig that they were supposed to be doing that had been planned months and months in advance. And the security had said to the police, look, we're going to need some help here. These guys are in dire straits, and they need to get... So these coppers didn't have a clue who the band were, but they've basically put like a human shield around the band as they're walking all the way from Wembley Stadium. and none of the coppers actually realised that it was a big rock band called Dire Straits.
Yeah, they weren't in Dire Straits. They were in Dire Straits. Yeah. All right, I'll stick that book on my list. All right, thanks a lot, Steve. In truth, he lost me at book, but I'll think about it. This text says, have you heard about Trump threatening to take away Rosie O'Donnell's citizenship for speaking out against him? If only there was something about that written down somewhere. Yeah, it's just extraordinary. I mean, what's going on over there is just one big, massive, evil clown show. And you just, I mean, where it might go next, who can even tell? I mean, I bet he himself doesn't even know what's going to happen next. I mean, you did say out loud, in answer to a question, who stopped the supply of arms to Ukraine. Trump said, I don't know, you tell me. Who's running America? And now he's announced 30% tariffs on goods from the European Union and Mexico to begin on August the 1st. Mexico's appropriate because, you know, taco. Trump always chickens out. This presents a major setback for negotiations to avert the escalating trade war in which the 27-country EU had hoped to reach a comprehensive trade agreement with the US. I mean, like, what does he actually want? I bet he has got no clue. And the EU is acting in the interest of its people. And Trump is acting in the interests of Trump, which means he's got a huge advantage. I mean, if he only cares about himself, he puts every other country leader on the back foot because he uses America and Americans as a weapon. No other leader of any country in the world, bar maybe Xi Jinping and Vlad the Insaner, would do that. And he swings wildly about with these tariffs so much that you might be forgiven for suspecting that there's something else going on. Because there's also huge swings in the markets. Currencies are shorted, stocks are bought and sold hours or minutes before the actual announcement of the tariffs being put on or taken off. Someone is making a massive amount of money by betting on what is going to happen just before Donald Trump says it's going to happen.
I make $400 million a year, so what difference does it make?
Yeah, I bet you do, Donny. Now. And officials in the European Commission have been leading the tariff negotiations, thought that a deal was ready to be signed. They just had to give it to Donald Trump like it's, like he receives those things like it's the wine menu, and he gives it a big boy scribble, and he holds it up for the cameras. And then he asks the people behind him what he's just signed. And so they thought they were about to make a deal. And then Trump must have woken up and got no idea. Maybe his makeup had smudged his pillow, or Melania wouldn't sit in the same room as him for breakfast, or some comedian was very mean and he flipped his wig. And now he's doling out tariffs like sweets at a children's birthday party. And the EU had hoped to reduce this 25% tariff on vehicles and levies on spirits and aircraft and parts and all of that. And the EU said that they were... I mean, they're even giving him things that they don't believe in, other countries. Because he keeps going on about these what do you call them? Deficits. Trade deficits. And so they're like, yeah, okay, then we'll buy more weapons. Yeah, how's that? You love that. And he just takes all of this stuff in and then he goes ahead and tariffs them anyway. It is like trying to do a deal with the mafia.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's never going to end well, and everything is never going to be enough. Trump said our relationship has been, unfortunately, far from reciprocal. This is one of his demented posts on his social media site. Our relationship, he said, about the EU has been, unfortunately, far from reciprocal. Starting on August the 1st, we will charge the European Union a tariff of only 30% on EU products sent into the United States, separate from all sectoral tariffs supposedly written by Donald Trump. And I don't reckon he wrote that. There weren't enough random capital letters, and it sounded like someone with a better command of the English language. But he did post it in the manner of all those very important international trade relation documents on his Truth Social website. And he warned that efforts to retaliate with EU counter-tariffs on US products would be countered with even higher tariff rates in return, which is, typical stupid bully behaviour. I hit you and you can't hit me back or I'll tell teacher. It's just so infantile. And the whole thing is just so utterly ridiculous if you take it at face value. Tariffs are paid for by American consumers. And trade imbalances aren't necessarily bad things, because both sides gain. I have got a trade imbalance with my barber. I buy his services, but he doesn't buy anything from me. It's not a bad thing, and it wouldn't get better if I placed a 30% tariff on his fee, because I'd be the one paying it. So I assume that you can't take any of this on face value because none of it makes any sense. It's not about trade imbalances and tariffs. It's about yet another get-richer-quick scheme, because with the volatility in the market, somebody with advanced knowledge of what crazy thing he's going to do next is definitely getting richer quicker. And he's not just screwing with the EU, it's everyone. And, when the tariff charges filter through to prices, as they will soon enough after companies use up their stocks and have to reorder goods at this new tariffed cost, those dinglings who voted for him are going to have to do some mental gymnastics to try and make sense of the fact that their dear leader is making their lives more expensive, threatening their jobs, their companies and their livelihoods, which is going to cause them some brain ache because they voted for him because he promised to ruin other people's lives, not theirs. Well, surprise. And now he's threatening to take away Rosie O'Donnell's citizenship for speaking out against him. I mean, he's just so easy to needle. It's just incredible. And he never lets anything go, which has been his entire life. It still is. He's still trying to get back at all those urban New York sophisticates who shunned him when he was trying to, be in with the in crowd. It's amazing, the grievance that comes out of that man. And I do believe that the human race has taken the wrong turn somewhere, because to make him, that person, the most powerful man on Earth, I mean, maybe this entire planet needs an upgrade. Maybe planet Earth is a fixer-upper. Somebody should take over with a little more sense. I think we're going to have to look into deep space for them. Meanwhile, let's take a call in Ebbw Vale. Hello, Tina.
Oh, hello.
Tina.
Hello. Now, you haven't had the call to break.
Tina, it's a very bad line. Try it again.
You haven't taken your quarter to break.
Well, that is very true, because the quarter to break was smashed into the quarter past break. And so, out of my control. But that's
all right then. I was getting worried.
That was well spotted, Tina.
I know, I was getting worried, Nick. Now, last night, you mentioned the Mandela effect.
Oh, yes.
And you hadn't heard of it.
Yeah, what is it again?
When people misremember things.
Oh, in large groups, you...
yes.
You're right, I got it.
They said about Bob Geldof. No, he didn't swear, which he did.
He did, yes.
I know he did. Now, there's a couple of questions I like to ask people.
Mm-hmm.
Now, can you remember Fruit of the Loom?
Fruit of the Loom? The T-shirts?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, can you remember the logo?
Wasn't it two cherries?
No, it was like fruit.
Well, what kind of fruit?
Well, it was just like grapes and oranges.
Was it?
It was yeah. Oh, well, you're going to be useless at this.
Go on. Try me.
But everybody remembers it was coming out of a cornucopia. It was like a brown shell, and the fruit was falling out of this cornucopia.
Yes.
Now, you remember that?
No. I remember it as two cherries.
Oh, well, that's a different type of fruit of the loom there.
I'm going to have to look that up.
Right.
And what happened to them, by the way?
Well, everybody remembers that the fruit was coming out of this cornucopia.
Yes.
But now every image has been wiped off the internet.
Why is that?
Well, this is weird, see, but some people are posting old pictures of Fruit of the Loom with the cornucopia.
Oh, yeah.
Right, now there's another question. Can you remember that exercise guru Richard Simmons?
Yes.
No. Can you remember what he wore on his head?
Hair.
Yeah, but he had a headband. Can you remember that?
Oh, yes.
No, he didn't. According to that, you look for a picture of Richard Simmons now with his headband.
Yeah.
Nope, he never wore one apparently.
Well, he did, though.
Yeah, no, he did. And there's people, right, of old photographs. When did he die?
Relatively recently, I can't recall.
No, everybody remembers he died. I thought he died about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
But apparently he died recently.
But why are you asking me all of these bizarre questions?
I like to ask people who've never heard of the Mandela effect. If they remember this stuff, look.
Okay, so you're accusing me of suffering from the Mandela effect.
No, I'm not.
I think you are.
No, I remember the headband.
Yes.
But there's millions of people in the world who say we are lying.
Right. I very much doubt that there's millions of people who are really that concerned about what Richard Simmons wore on his head. I mean, or what the logo of Fruit of the Loom was. But I'm going to have to stew in my ignorance, Tina. I mean, I would look it up, but that's homework. But thanks for that. Whatever that was. 0345 6060 973.
On your radio, on the LBC app, and
Play LBC.
leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC. This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbott.
Hello.
You're wondering what it's all about, and I can't tell you because I don't know myself.
Yeah, no, me neither. Dave in Wimborne says, moving on from last night's debate about who is better between Pink Floyd and Dire Straits, which jazz album do you think is better, A Love Supreme by John Coltrane or Kinda Blue by Miles Davis? I get the impression you were a bit of a jazz aficionado, so your input into this question is greatly valued. It's Kinda Blue by Miles Davis. I mean, I know that's a cliched thing to say. It's the jazz album that people like who don't like jazz, which just seems like a ridiculous thing to say to me. I don't like jazz, but people do say ridiculous things, and that is one of the things that you will hear people say, which to me is the same as saying I don't like music. What on earth are you talking about? You don't like jazz. But Kinda Blue by Miles Davis has got to be, well, it's got to be one of the top 10 best albums ever made of any genre. God, I hate that word. Genre. Hate it. And the people that made that album, I've heard them talk about it, and they didn't really have any idea that they were making something that was really going to go down in history as one of the best albums of all time. They just sort of showed up and they did their thing and then they left and then that was it, and there it was. Kinda Blue by Miles Davis. If you don't have that in your collection, then your collection is seriously lacking. Let's have Maidstone. Hello, Lee.
Hello, Nick. You all right?
Yes, good, thanks.
Oh, sorry, you called me. Sorry, off guard. Still there?
I'm still here. Are you still there, Lee?
Yeah, I can hear you, mate. I can hear you. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was expecting an introduction from your from the organ grinder and the.
You want an introduction? Like a drum roll or something?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, caught me off guard. Yeah, the reason I was ringing up is I didn't know if you was going to do, like you did these names for Trump. I didn't know if you had any names for the new Jeremy Corbyn's new political party.
No, I don't. I haven't really thought very much about it. I don't think anybody has thought very much about it. They just threw out an idea, and then the press started worrying at it like a dog with a bone.
I thought of little else, to be honest, Nick. I've realised that to be a member of the party, your name's got to fit in that song. You know, oh, Jeremy Corbyn. You know that song?
Yeah, well, I heard that at Glastonbury, yeah.
Yeah, because you got that, Zara Sultana also fits, doesn't it?
Oh, it's got to fit in that... Right, okay.
Yeah.
It has to have the requisite number of syllables, and you'll be able to sing it. Right.
And I think you've got a couple of listeners who might be interested, like, Malcolm from Bodmin. or Rose from Oakhampton.
Well,
they're all sort of on the left, aren't they?
Yeah, this is a very specific criteria that we have to meet in order to be affiliated with that party.
But my favourite one, I was listening to Ali Mirage earlier, and my friend, Ranjit from Oldbury,
Ali Mirage would actually fit too.
Ali Mirage, he's on the other side. But Ranjit from Oldbury, I was meant to be having a bet with, but he said today on Ali Mirage that he's given up his membership to the Labour Party. So I don't know if he's sort of backing out of this bet, and I don't want to kick a man while he's down.
Even though that is the most convenient point to kick a man when he's down.
I like Ranjit. I wouldn't be doing that too.
Right, okay. Well, you're giving us a lot to think about and sing. Lee. So I appreciate that. Thanks a lot, mate. 0345 6060 973. Naomi says, I want to agree with Laura that the Dire Straits are way better than Pink Floyd. Oh, come off it, Naomi. Mark says, Nick, I'm sick of all this news about heatwave. Isn't it just called summer? Well, normally summer is cold and wet and unpredictable, and it's windy, and you never know what you're going to get from 1 minute to the next. But this summer, it just keeps going on and on. And we had a great spring as well. I think this is going to go down as one of the great summers of all time. Because people still, even last night, people were calling it about 1976. And I think 77 was pretty good as well, wasn't it? But this is epic. That year that the COVID pandemic, can't say it out loud, upsets a lot of people, COVID pandemic, that was 2020, and we had an unbelievably good spring. You remember? Just day after day after day. And we'd all been sent home. Well, not everybody, but, most people had been sent home. And you couldn't go out for fear of being apprehended by the law. Ain't that right, Bodge?
I can't comment on that.
No. Yeah, he followed the ministerial guidelines at all times.
I followed the ministerial guidelines at all times.
Yeah, sure you did. Sure you did, Bodge. Still not missing you, by the way. But we know where to find you if we will. You'll be with David Cameron in a shed where they keep the tools.
I think this is nonsense.
Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. But look at this. This is, this is for London, so it's going to be warmer than almost anywhere else. But 85 tomorrow, 81 on Monday, and then on Tuesday it dips all the way back down to 70, and it's going to rain.
Oh, no.
Yes. But then the following days, up to 77, then 81, 83, 82, 84, 82. Every day it's in the 80s, apart from Tuesday, when it's going to rain. That is really extraordinary, isn't it? I can't remember any period that it's been like that every day, for as far as you can see. So, yeah, we're living in a summer that is going to go down in history. This text says, my wife always makes me lock the doors on the car when we drive through Streatham. We lived in Brixton at the time, which was pretty lively itself, but she only got twitchy around Streatham. Yeah, I don't know what it is about Streatham, but I always see somebody do something berserk in a car in Streatham. Maybe it's they just want to get out of it as quickly as possible by whatever means. Maybe it's that. Or maybe there's just something in the air. But whatever it is, I always gird myself. Let's have East Yorkshire. Hello, Mike.
Hi, Nick. Yeah. 7 to 7 was not good, Nick. 7 to 7
no?
Was till the Jubilee, and it started in January, and it ran on and on and on, and every news broadcast was full of which royal had opened something there, which royal had opened something there. And me and a gang of my rugby club mates nearly were threatened with arrest in Bridlington. If we were sick of this,
why? Hang on a minute. Yeah, it's getting difficult to hear every other word because you're... I don't know. There's something wrong with your phone. I think I've told you that before. But why did you nearly get arrested?
Because we walked down Bridlington front with T-shirts, 3 lines. First line, the letter F. Second line, V. Third line, Jubilee.
Mm-hmm.
And
you got arrested for wearing a T-shirt.
And Wrinkleys got offended about this and started attacking us. And so the entire Bridlington police force on a Sunday, a sergeant and a PC said, "We're going to arrest you." And 16 of us said, "Yeah."
Under what charge?
Causing an affray.
Oh, an affray, yeah. Breaching the peace, something like that, something vague, yeah.
Which was appalling. So 77, it was a sunny day on that Sunday. But,
right.
But anyway, now I rang up about Trump. 3 bits of annoyance I've got with Trump. Did you not see the interview he did with the president of Liberia?
Yes. You talk English very, very nice. Where did you learn?
Yeah, where did you learn? The guy said Liberia, and he said, "Oh, you have really nice accent, and you've got a better accent than people in the White House." How patronising! I mean, he's had a go at Zelensky. He tried to butcher the South African president over a fake graveyard, and now he's had a go at another guy. If you were black in America, wouldn't you think this guy's got a problem?
Yes. It's that no one has ever told him no. He's never been corrected his entire life. And so this is the kind of individual that you are left with when you go through an entire life without being corrected.
Yeah, I quite accept that. And the other 2 niggles I've got is the guy in Texas who was in charge of organising emergency situations and dealing with them was ousted by Doge and took redundancy, otherwise he'd have been fired. He would have been the guy who would have been in charge of notifying people and activating emergency services.
It's worse than that, I'm afraid, because you remember Obak Arama? Yes, Obak Arama tried to give the people of that manor in Texas money for an early warning flood alert, because unlike what Donald Trump said, that's never happened before, it's happened frequently. It's a flood area. And so in order to help people who weren't voting for him, Barack Obama, this is in deep red Texas, he tried to give them money in order to install an early warning flood system. But they didn't want it because it was coming from Barack Obama. We can't have that communist stuff here, they said, or words to that effect. And then, so they refused it. And then Joe Biden tried to give them the money. I mean, just going out of his way, both of them, to help people who weren't ever going to vote for him, ever. Can you imagine Donald Trump doing that? No. And they refused. And then the federal government said, well, okay, well, we're going to give it to a blue state, a Democrat state. And they said, oh, all right, well, we'll take it. But we're not going to spend it on flood defence. We're going to give it to law enforcement. So they gave it to the sheriff's office. So they didn't spend it on an early flood warning system, which would have warned people about a flood early.
Yeah, and then the third complaint I've got is when he was asked about this, he was asked about could warnings have come earlier.
Yeah.
He said, "You're a really nasty person. That's a really nasty question."
Yeah, he said only an evil person would ask a good question like that.
I mean, this is unbelievable. It was a reasonable question.
It's the consequence of never being told no, never having anything that you say come with any consequences. That's who he is, an infant.
Yeah, with a machine gun.
With a machine gun, yes, that's right. Yeah. All right, good work. If somewhat alarming. Thanks a lot, Mike. 0345 6060 973. Melin Torquay says, been watching Live Aid on the telly today. David Bowie, TVC 15. What's all that about then? What's TVC 15 about? I don't know. I mean, I've sung it maybe hundreds of times, because you just do, don't you? A Bowie song comes on the radio and you sing along, even though the lyrics don't mean anything, really, to you or me. They may mean something to him, but he isn't really passing that information on, or wasn't at the time. It's like Heroes. And they kissed like, what's the line go? And they kissed like no one can see them, or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was. But that was Tony Visconti, who was kissing somebody by the Berlin Wall in a break from recording. So he just slipped it in there. But mostly it doesn't make no sense at all. But it doesn't stop you from learning the lyrics and singing along with it, does it? TVC 15. I'll have to look it up.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott.
Right, so what are we doing?
Given we're doing a radio show, but it does remind me that I do a podcast with Carol McGiffin.
Oh, right, yeah.
Now, it's a problem-solving podcast, and we have a problem. The problem is that we've been so helpful that we've run out of problems. I think I ran through them all, the remaining ones that we had on the last episode that we did, which will be coming out on Monday. So we need your problems. If you've got a problem, a concern, an issue, something you'd always wondered about, then leave it put it in the hands of the unprofessionals. Send it to the following address, nickandcarol@global.com. That's NICKANDCAROL @global.com, and prepare to be totally satisfied.
Oh, right, yeah.
There's about 320, 330 episodes up on the internet, which you can get on Global Player. It's called it's called What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol. And like I said, if you've got a problem and you want to be part of the podcast, which I do believe will make you laugh. I mean, we do set each other off. It is funny stuff, and it's like a break from this hideous news cycle that we're in. It's like a little mental holiday. You'll love it. What's your problem with Nick and Carol? Send your problems to nickandcarol@global.com. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
0345 6060 973. Woodford. Hello, John.
Oh, hello. Well, if you have a problem, I think you said, I'm not sure if I caught that right, you said about catching a fly, and it's impossible to do that.
No, a clothes moth is very, very hard to catch because they disappear on the wing. You can't see them anymore.
Well, I know, but when they land, it's easier to catch a fly.
Yeah. Well, a fly, I'm not sure about a fly. Flies see you coming.
No, they don't.
Don't they?
No, that's what I was going to explain, that what you need to do is get a very clean pint glass, and you very gradually bring it towards the fly or the moth very slowly. They don't see it because they only see when you go to swipe them, then they'll see it. But they won't see the glass. And by the time you get the glass up to the wall, they haven't seen it then, and then you just slip a card under it.
Not sure that that's true, John. No,
it is. I've done it so many times. I mean, no, because I thought there's got to be a way of doing this, and it does actually work. Really, try it. This is the best, but you've got to be very slow.
Yeah.
And then bring it up to the fly.
Well, slow over, like how long a period of time does it take to get from one side of the room to another in order to catch the fly out?
You're standing in front of it, or it's on the wall, and then you just get the glass, and you just very gradually bring the glass towards you. So within 10 seconds, you're over it.
I don't know, but everybody's got their windows open, so it would be helpful to get rid of a fly because it makes such a racket when it's just you and it in the same room, isn't it?
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, I've never
telling you.
Come across noisy flies. So I don't know.
That and they're bashing into the window all the time.
I think,
stupid morons.
No, there are noisy. But anyway, can I just mention one other thing?
Yes,
if possible. You said about you and Carol give us problems in, can I mention a problem on the radio now? Not a problem, but a bit, something that annoys me, and I don't understand. And it's happened for many years, and I want to know if you know why. When you're watching something on TV, a film, and then it then goes over to adverts, why does the sound go up so loud? Because then you have to turn the TV down because you might have names that don't really like it, because it is ridiculous.
They do play adverts on telly much louder than the actual programme that you're watching. That is true. It's in order to attract your attention, John. Because if you're just sort of zoning out in front of some rubbish on telly, then if they play it at the same volume, you won't notice it so much. I mean, you could snooze through them, and they don't want that.
No, that doesn't bother me, because I just switch over to BBC News, because that's easy with mine. I've got a flip over switch, so I don't have to hear that. But I know that does happen, and it just annoys me. But anyway, I don't want to bore you. I mean, and the other last thing, very quickly, you had a chap, I was going to say a patient, you had a chap on earlier who said that he did want to tell you that you have got a lady that really likes you and that you have got a fan.
Right.
And I thought, well, that's an absolutely perfect thing that we need in this weather,
A fan, precisely, yes. All right, thanks for the good news, John. Up every evening about 8:30 or 9, I give my complete attention to a very good friend of mine. He's quadraphonic. He's got more channels. So hologramic, oh my TVC15. Does that make any sense?
No.
No. But it sounds great, doesn't it? I mean, he just, the way he sings things, it just really imparts meaning to meaningless lyrics. One of these nights I may just jump down that rainbow way, be with my baby, then we'll spend more time together. So hologramic, oh my TVC15. Absolutely no idea. But what a great song. 0345 6060 973. David in Birmingham says, here's another name for Trump, Don the Con. No. That's a no. Rob says, Nick, in our village we wait for each other to mess around, getting in and out of cars before driving on and waving and smiling at each other. All very friendly and polite and English country folk. Well, ain't that just sweet and lovely compared to your caller and you, all angry and unobliging? Well, if you live in a village, Rob, then you got no end of time. I'm in the fast lane, me, which is all lanes when you're driving through Streatham. All lanes are fast lanes when you're driving through Streatham. Yeah, don't forget that. Let's see now. Cardiff. Hello, Stephen.
Hello, Nick. How are you doing?
Good, thanks.
Good. About 15 years ago, I went to see Brian Jonestown.
Brian Jonestown Massacre.
That's it.
Yes.
That's it. Sorry. And it was in a little club in Cardiff, central Cardiff, Club Yvorbach on Womanby Street. And before the gig, we went over to the pub, opposite the castle, and they were all sat in a corner. They had sort of like bottles of whiskey and stuff on there, and they looked absolutely trashed. Bit scary.
That sounds like them, yeah.
So anyway, we went over to the gig, and they played for about 15 minutes, and then shuffled off the stage.
That was it.
And but then they came back on after about 5-10 minutes, like the audience getting a bit disgruntled, like.
Yeah.
And the singer, I forgot his name. What's his name called?
Oh, I don't know.
Anyway, they came back on, and he's going, yeah, well, you know, it's not my fault you got these stupid no smoking in a club.
Really? They left stage after 15 minutes to go and have a fag?
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
So they came back on. They were brilliant, but they were they were kind of giving each other evil eyes and stuff like you know what I mean? And
They do look sort of like hobos, don't they? Like hobos from the Old West. Like they hopped a rail car to get to the gig. Yeah, they look like they would be supporting Neil Young. They're kind of like that. Like they shop in the same clothes store.
Yeah. Well, I remember one of the guys was dressed all in leather. The guy with plays the tambourine a lot.
Well, they do have faces that only their mothers could love.
Yeah, true. There was so he starts berating this guy then in the audience who had a sport related shirt on, the one with the tick. And saying he was a corporate flipping puppet and all stuff like that.
Well, I think that's everybody. I mean, that's everybody on Earth. If it makes you a corporate puppet to wear something with a logo on it, well, that's everybody. That is. It's hard to find something that hasn't got a logo on it at any price point. All right. Thanks a lot, Steve. 0345 6060 973. Bill says, Nick, we're currently staying on a green double-decker Wild Atlantic bus near Top of the Morning, Galway. Staying on a bus. It's a wonderful place, well worth a visit, but the flying ants must have missed the memo because their day was supposed to be last week. Yeah, it was this last week, the flying ant day, but I suppose that changes depending on where you are, because it's... because they all pop out under certain circumstances, which is not the same over the whole country. But what do you mean you're staying on a green double-decker Wild Atlantic bus? What does that mean? I suppose I'll never know. Steve says, I'm in my van waiting to pick some friends up outside the Oasis gig in Manchester tonight. I was wondering whether I was missing out, but from my van I can hear the drone of a Manc on the microphone currently reverberating across northern Manchester. Plus, each of my friends have paid £400 for a ticket, so I don't have any regrets. No, I think you made the right choice there, Steve. You'd have to pay me £400 to stand in front of that moaning outfit. I've seen them already. I've said that on this show several times. Couldn't be more boring. I mean, really, just such a dull band. I mean, they got the anthemic tunes that the crowd can do a sing-along to, but just as a live act, painful. I mean, just really excruciatingly boring. And I think all of those people that are coming out of the thing saying, oh, it's the most amazing experience of my entire life, I think it's because they paid £400. They're just trying to make it something that it isn't. That's what I think, and I mean, even though I don't know anything about it, it doesn't prevent me from having a strong opinion.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
I am not one of your fans!
Christian Woking says, Nick, I stayed up till 1 to hear the joke, and I didn't think it was very good. Oh, really? I did. As a consequence, I couldn't get to sleep until 5:30 in the morning, but don't worry, I don't blame you for that. I blame Meghan Markle. Yeah, thanks a lot, Meghan Markle. No! See what you've done? And Paul in London says, Nick, if you haven't already seen it or heard it, there's a great soundbite to add to your library from Farage's recent appearance on Nick Ferrari's show on the 3rd of July, where in response to a caller giving him facts, Farage says, don't vote for me, please don't vote for me, thank you. Might be essential during the next general election. Did he really say that?
I'm a nutcase.
Well, I'm going to have to look that up. What time? I need that sound effect. I mean, there's so many others that it would fit in with.
We've got a few idiots in our party.
Like that one, for instance.
We are thick, we are stupid.
Yeah, exactly.
The arguments that UKIP stands for aren't valid.
Yeah, precisely.
Nigel Farage is not fit and proper to be in government.
He keeps saying stuff like that. How can I resist? Let's see. Who's been waiting the longest? Be totally fair about that. Tooting. Hello, Jan.
Oh, hi. Good evening.
Yes, Jan.
How are you?
I am great, mate.
Surviving the heat wave.
Yes, I suppose so. Yeah, I have no choice.
Well, you're here. You're on the airways.
Well, it's cool. It's nice and cool in here. That's for sure.
Oh, in your studio.
My little booth. Yeah.
Okay, well that's good. Nick, I mean, just thinking about. I came across some news item today that took me a bit into outer space because it was wonderful, and it's to do with radio astronomy that I knew absolutely nothing about.
It took you into outer space.
Yeah, because
yeah,
I was reading about the never heard of him before, but
yeah,
his name.
Whose name?
So Nick.
Yeah, outer space.
Nick,
go on.
This is obituary. He passed away recently, but he's one of the towering figures of astronomy.
Who?
Sir Francis Graham Smith,
yes,
who's one of the founders of the science of radio astronomy.
Right, he was astronomical.
No, I mean it's extraordinary because it.
Yes. I feel like we're travelling through space together, Jan.
You don't want to hear.
I just thought you'd appreciate an appropriate musical accompaniment.
Nick.
What a beautiful piece of music. Yes,
yes,
Joan.
So, Nick,
No.
what it is that
No, it wasn't.
For the first time.
It wasn't lovely. You were lying about that. Go on.
No, well, yeah, but we know where it's coming from.
Yeah.
And this is, I feel like I was taken away from the earth for a while, from the current affairs and everything. When I was reading about what he did, it's amazing.
Amazing.
I never heard of him.
Right, I never heard of him either. Who is he and what did he do?
He was his obituary later. He's the founder of the science of radio astronomy.
Right.
Okay, and what it enabled...
So he was a DJ?
No, what rate? So I had to look at it. You know, I mean, it says quite a bit in brief.
One of
about
those
his
interstellar DJs. Yeah, please don't read me his obituary.
No, I'm not going to read the obituary. But I want to say, for the first time, the universe was able to be seen, was able to be explored via the radio waves that they emit.
Okay, well, that's nice. But what's the universe in?
What do you mean? What's the universe in?
What's it in?
No, I mean the radio galaxy, the clusters of stars. What they found out for the first time, and in the 1960s, he was investigating pulsars, rotating neutron stars, and some of the facts are mind-boggling.
Right. Well, you're boggling my mind as you're speaking. Yeah, that is the sound of my mind being boggled.
Yeah, but you know, when you mention the figures about what billionaires, you know, you go into saying, you know, try to get us to grasp what it is.
Yes.
And like, for instance, these pulsar stars, neutron stars, they show beams of. I'm not going to get too scientific about that.
No, please, don't even start to tell me because.
No, but this is amazing.
I won't be able to grasp it. Regardless of how amazing it is, Jan, I'm incapable of understanding astronomical bodies.
Okay, but the way they found recently, last week, the astronomers in the University of Oxford discovered one of the oldest comets ever seen.
Wow, that's amazing.
Solar
Who
system.
cares? There's nothing out there.
No, but that's just it. There is.
No, there isn't. There isn't. Nobody's ever found anything out there at all, ever. No matter how much we peer at it, as close or as far away as you can get, there's been no evidence of any kind whatsoever. There's just us on this tiny little insignificant planet in the bottom end of nowhere.
But Nick, this comet that they found at the University of Oxford citing it, it's 3 billion years old.
Wow, isn't that amazing? It's not amazing. It's just a piece of rock.
No, but I mean it just goes to show there was a solar systems before ours. So, like, I think, have you seen that Gauguin painting that he did when he was in Tahiti?
Which one?
I know I'm shifting a bit, but he did a painting. Where do we come from? Where are we going?
Do we know where we're going to sing?
the painting he did when he was in Tahiti. It's like it's asking the questions that we can't answer.
Right. Well, I can't form an answer or a coherent response to anything you've said so far.
Oh, okay. All right. Can I mention something else to you before I go? Please. Second point. It might make sense.
I doubt it.
No, have you heard of lion's mane? Medicinal mushroom.
It's a mushroom, right?
Yeah. Well, it came up in a thing. The other thing I had, this is more earthbound, about refreshing drinks to have during this heat wave.
Do I want to drink mushroom juice? No.
No. This is lion's mane. This is added. They had.
It's mushrooms.
No, but there was
I don't want to drink mushrooms.
No, what people drink to help them with this heat wave.
Right.
And this is one of the ingredients.
Iced water. That's what you want to drink.
No, but this is a drink using orange juice, high in
Jan,
magnesium.
can I ask you a question about this?
Yes.
Are you on mushrooms right now?
No, but this drink that this nutritionist wrote about, the trip mindful blend of orange juice and things, including the lion's mane.
Lion's mane.
Lion's mane medicinal mushroom.
Yeah, that sounds awful.
No, but I've just found out I've had to look at what it was, and apparently I know people who've got Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
And it's good for the mind.
I very much doubt it. But if I were you, I'd give it a go. Why not?
No.
You could go all in, Jan. Have as much as you like, and then consult a trained professional later. See what they say. I've got to go, but thanks a lot for that. We'll take a short breath. Lynn in Liverpool says, put your face in cold water. Brilliant, and it works for cooling down. Yeah, but how do you breathe? James in Swindon says, hi, Nick, there was an ultramarathon going on near me today, just a quick 100 kilometres. No idea how many people made it, but the organiser said if you get to 50 kilometres, we'll give you the medal anyway. What a stupid thing to do. Are you kidding? On a day like today, people are doing, never mind about ultra marathons, just marathons would be mad enough. Running for the bus is out of the question. That is just asking for it, isn't it? I mean, I do see people who are jogging in this weather. I mean, I'm driving along and I'm going to work, and they've obviously come, well, not obviously, but it looks to me like they've just come home from work, and having a run after work is their thing. But, I mean, come on. Use some common sense. You don't run when it's 80 degrees outside. That's just mad. Why would you do that? The only reason to run when it's 80 degrees outside is if you're in Africa and there's a tiger on the loose. No, put your feet up, relax, watch some telly, or, just have a nap, something like that. You'll live longer. This says, hello, Nick, is it working? I don't know. I'm not actually sure right now. Is it working? I'll ask my glamorous assistant. Is it working?
As far as I can tell,
yes.
It might just about be working.
It just about be working. That sounds like a result to me. 0345 6060 973. Estepona. Hello, Andrew.
Hi.
Andrew.
Hi, Nick. The water. The lady who phoned up with the €900 bill, that is actually possible. But I would say that was for a quarter. We get our quarterly bills, and we've got two water supplies, one for the garden and the pool, and one for the house. So
really? Separate ones? Why separate for the...
Well,
go on.
The villa is built on a double plot, and it's a big villa. So it's actually two plots, and you've got two water supplies, one at one end and one at the other. So we get two bills.
Right.
So when we first moved in, not knowing anything, I was just using. I've never had a meter. I was just using water like anything. I was using the irrigation system, watering the garden. Everything was lovely. Filling the pool up. We had builders in and things like that. And we did have a massive bill.
How much?
so
Because
that's
last night, this nice lady from Spain called up and said that her monthly water bill was €900.
Right, so she's got a massive leak in my house insurance. We are insured up to if we have a leak and we get a massive bill, we're insured up to $1,500. And I've had quite a few leaks. It's an old villa. English people like to buy the old villa because they look fantastic.
Yes.
Spanish people like to buy these bricks that look really square and minimalistic. So that's how it. That's
When
how
you
it
when you
goes.
say
If you've got
bricks, you don't actually mean bricks. You mean something that is brick-like.
It looks
right.
It's
okay.
really square and minimalistic. So normally the lounge comes part of the outside, and the glass windows are curtains. And
Now,
they
in Spain,
open them up. And
yes, in Spain, do you have a water shortage at the moment?
Right. Okay. I can go into this.
No, just yes or no.
No.
You
right
don't?
Now, no. Right now, no. But we've got water. We've been told we have water now. If it doesn't rain, we've got water for 3 years. And I'm really on this.
3 years?
For 3 years. So, 2023, we had a hosepipe ban. Last year, it finished in June because we had all that rain. The previous October, when there was a lot of fatalities up in Valencia.
Yeah.
So we had that rain. Then we had rain 2024. It's been fantastic. We've had lots of rain.
But I would have thought that sort of instant flooding would not fill the reservoirs or the aquifers because it hits bone-dried land and just runs right off, hence the flooding.
Okay. Completely wrong where we are. We're in the south, so we're in Andalusia. I'm in Estepona, which is next door to Marbella. Our lake, our reservoir is in a place called Istan, which is just outside Marbella. It is so full, they've had to let water out.
God, because ours are arid.
But you don't have mountains like we do, close, so where they collect the water from the mountains, it all runs down into the reservoirs. Right, so when
I suppose so. But on the other hand, we do normally have a massive amount of rain in this country, whereas the rain in Spain doesn't fall mainly on the plain or anywhere else as it happens.
Yeah, but here, when we did have the hosepipe ban, we were taking water from Marbella because they were. Is it? I can't remember what it's called.
Oh, well, you want to watch that because some of the people in Marbella they won't react kindly to that. You know, there's sort of squash-nosed types.
Absolutely.
In Marbella.
Well, they take the water from the sea and they make it into drinking water.
Yeah.
So our mayor saw the same thing, and he's put one in Estepona. So we have that.
Right, very, very expensive way
they
to
take
get
100
water.
litres. 100 litres of seawater makes 45 litres of drinking water.
But with a massive amount of energy in order to make that happen.
Our one is completely green. No, our one in Estepona is completely green. The one in Marbella isn't. And he made sure it works off of solar.
Really?
Yes, really.
Solar.
And I'm looking forward to going and seeing it. I've walked up and down the coast trying to find it. I can't find it. But it's there, and we have water. We have water now for 3 years.
Good grief. Well, that's just... I mean, I'll go to the foot of our stairs because we haven't got water for the next 3 days because of the excellent way in which our water companies conduct their business. Yeah. I'll get to that. I have excruciating full facts to impart. Don't you worry about that, Andrew.
You're an island with water around you.
Yeah.
Take the water from the sea and make it into drinkable water.
Well, we shouldn't have to.
Water.
We shouldn't have to do any of that. We should have plenty of water as it is. And the reason why we haven't is, well, I'll get to that in a minute. But, okay, good work. Thanks a lot, Andrew. There you are, you see. A well-run country. That's what you need. No problemo, lamo.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Alexa, send a comment to LBC.
Here are the studio calls flashing up on the indicator.
Yes, many studio calls flashing up on the indicator. Let me just read a couple of texts. Chris says, hi Nick, wasps are crucial for the ecosystem. Instead of killing or maiming wasps, leave some fruit, like a slice of watermelon, a safe distance from yourself, and they'll be more interested in that than you. Oh, well, I'm not sure that's true. And I don't kill wasps or maim them. I just stun them a bit, give them a bit of a surprise, and then they go and tell their mates, and they don't return. I mean, that's my experience. It might not be exactly... It might be coincidental. They might have just decided that, there's nothing to eat around here, so we're just going to leave anyway. But I did produce my death bat, which, in case you haven't seen one, is like a tennis racket, but it has electrified strings. And it doesn't kill a wasp, it just gives it a bit of a surprise. And it gets up and it flies away, and I'm sure that it goes back to its nest, and it tells other wasps to give us a wide swerve. That's my experience, anyway. Chorlton. Hello, Richard.
Hello.
Richard.
Yeah. TVC15.
Yes.
Yeah. It's apparently a kind of a fever dream or a drug-induced sort of experience that Iggy Pop had when he was kicking around with Bowie in the mid-70s, whereby Iggy dreamt his girlfriend was getting sucked in and eaten by a TV, and that's what the song's about. Which was a strange choice for Live Aid, because he didn't play it live an awful lot anyway, and to dig it out for the biggest thing that he'd ever done.
Yeah. Well, but it's such a great song, though, isn't it? I mean, regardless of what the lyrics are like, because all Bowie's songs, they've got really impenetrable lyrics. They don't appear to mean anything. They probably do to him, but not to us. Because he used to cut them up, didn't he? He used to have that sort of William Burroughs cut-up technique, thereby further obscuring any meaning that might be in them.
Yeah.
I brought my baby home. Yeah, she sat around forlorn. She saw my TVC15. Baby's gone. She crawled right in my. She crawled right in my. Doesn't make any sense. No sense at all.
Sort of. Brian Jonestown Massacre, a bit of homework for you. There's an excellent documentary called Dig, which came out about 20 years ago about Brian Jonestown Massacre, which is absolutely worth watching. It's one of these ones, if you've ever seen the Anvil documentary, which is sort of like a real-life Spinal Tap, where the Dig documentary about Brian Jonestown is very much along those lines. Absolute cartoonish, buffoonish behaviour. I see there's a 20th anniversary extended cut of it out, so that would be quite a good thing to
they're making another Spinal Tap, aren't they?
Oh, yes. Looking forward to that.
I wonder if that's one of those films that you really shouldn't revisit, that it's perfect on its own, just leave it alone and walk away.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's got all the originals in there, and they have got quite a good track record with all the other sort of repertory type films they did.
Yes.
Best in Show and the one about the folk singers and that sort of thing. So, optimistic.
Yeah, OK, well, we live in hope. All right, thanks a lot, Richard. 0345 6060 973. Lucy in West Acton says, following on from Jeff's call, I don't recall who Jeff was. Avoid being bothered by wasps at barbecues this summer by putting a blob of jam on a small child. Let me just write that down, Lucy. A blob of jam on a small child, you say? Alex says, I see the tubby tyrant has hit everyone with another load of tariffs. How long will it be until he chickens out of this latest bit of nonsense? Also, with a natural disaster occurring in Texas, I wouldn't be surprised if at some point he declared war on the weather. Yeah, well, I'm surprised that people in America aren't shooting it. But yeah, that FEMA thing, I just wonder if there's going to be like a wave of things that all come at the same time that even his most cultish fans won't be able to ignore. Because there are a few things that are happening, and everything that he's doing to the government over there and to other countries with this demented tariffs routine, none of it's going to go well for the people who voted for him. In fact, everything that he is doing seems to be directly seems to be directed at making the people who voted for him's life worse. I know that was a very convoluted sentence, but you get what I mean. Rich people, I mean, they'll be just fine. But rich people didn't really vote for him. The educated, rich, so-called elite on the coasts, they didn't vote for him. But they will, ironically, be fine for most of the things that he's doing to America. You know, they can afford another 10% or 20% for a car or a fridge or, you know, a can of soup or whatever it might be. It's his fans, the ones who put him in power. Those are the ones who are going to suffer. The people in the red states, which have a more dependency on government benefits than the Democrat states. It's kind of interesting, isn't it, really, that the Republicans put themselves forward as, great stewards for the economy. And, we can get things done and we can fix things. And all of the states that they run are absolute basket cases. They're all dependent on taking more from the government than they give back in taxes, whereas the Democrat states are the other way around. If America lost California, it would be sunk. California is the one that keeps the states that voted for Donald Trump afloat. So all of the people that voted for him, who voted for him to make other people's lives worse, their lives are going to get significantly worse very, very quickly, but by the end of this year, because the prices haven't really filtered down yet. I mean, all this stupid tariff nonsense, that hasn't filtered through yet, because companies, and this is partly why the American economy has done so well recently, is because companies bought ahead of time to try to fill their stockpile of whatever it was they needed ahead of the tariffs. So they might have bought an entire year's worth of stuff just to avoid these demented tariffs from him. So it does, on the surface, appear as though things are going great guns. But when it works its way through, and these companies have to buy steel at 30% more than they did last time, or their, everything, really, the ingredients that go into foods and so on and so on. Once that works its way through, then the people that voted for him are really going to suffer, because they're the ones with least money, and he will also, in the meantime, taken away their safety nets, taking away their health care and their benefits and the free food for kids and, all of that stuff. And I wonder what they're going to do then, because they have put their faith, literally, it's their faith that they have put in him, like he's Jesus. He is their orange Jesus. And when it does appear as though they've been had, I wonder how they're going to react. Pretty badly, I would say. I mean, of course, initially they will resist pinning blame on the dear leader, because it will crush their entire world view. I mean, that's the essence of faith, isn't it? You keep believing, regardless of all of the evidence to the contrary that suggests that you're being had, or what you believe in does not exist, or you're being lied to. And I just, because apart from anything else, his fans, the people in the red states, they're the ones with all the guns. So I just wonder who they're going to start shooting in order to, express their displeasure. So I can't see anything positive about America for the foreseeable future. In fact, it just seems likely it's going to get worse and worse and worse, because Trump is going to have to be even more cruel in order to keep his fans happy.
On your radio, on the LBC app, and
Play LBC.
leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC. This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbot.
You're joking.
Hello, boys. Chilly in the east of Scotland. Oh, I can remember chilly. Like a dream. Mark in Streatham says, have you heard about how US airlines are getting around the tariff chaos caused by Trump thin-skin? Delta Airlines are buying brand new Airbus planes in Europe and stripping out the engines to install on older US-registered airliners to keep their fleet in the air. It looks like the US is copying how Cuba keeps their cars going. Viva la revolution. Is that true? It doesn't sound like it would be true, but... This text says, I was evacuated to North Wales in World War II in 1944 to avoid doodlebugs V1 and V2. And I got stung by wasps. My mum panicked and put vinegar on the stings. Bingo, job done. But bee stings are acid, so need alkaline to cure them. Huh. What, bees have got concentrated acid for blood? They're the perfect organism. And they mostly come out at night. I had no idea. I want to talk about water in a minute because there's precious little of it. But first, here is a call in South Shields. Hello, Joanne.
Oh, good evening, Nick.
Joanne.
Hi. Firstly, I'd just like to say I really miss Steve Wright in the afternoon.
Yes.
But now I've got you, Nick.
Oh.
Only with, crazy callers. Do you know what it is? Sometimes I think you're a bit cruel to Jan, but it's great radio. I know that's awful, so I don't know what that says about me.
Why, you're a terrible person, Joanne.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I was going to phone up about the fast show because I was thinking there's a lady who worked at a beauty counter, South African, and she'd insult people regularly, and she'd wear really heavy tan stick with a Tide mark, and no offence.
Who is it you're describing?
Right, the lady's called, the title, if you Google it, is No Offence, the fast show.
Oh, right.
She's very funny.
I never saw it.
Well, if you type in Joan Collins Snatch, that's the name of a perfume, by the way.
Okay.
It will come up. It's very funny.
Right.
But I was thinking, I mean, your caller who did the Farage horse thing, which is hilarious, he was on about, can you imagine a Stormer got up with that tan stick makeup with the hair? We'd all think he's having a breakdown and stage an intervention.
If anybody else, never mind about a world leader, if anybody else walked out the house with a whole can of hairspray in what looks to me like some sort of complicated weave.
I don't wear a toupee.
And that much mismatched pancake makeup on their face, they would. Yeah. I mean, nobody would. Well, to say the least, no one would take them seriously.
Do you know? I'm wondering if he's having an affair with someone from a makeup counter who wears far too much makeup. He spurned them and hurt them, and they've said, I'm your makeup artist, and if you say I'm not, then I'm going to have to tell the wife. And
I just wonder whether
he's
it's
walked into this bit of cycle of bad makeup.
I just wonder whether it's, dictatorial leaders they've all got something weird about them, and usually it's their hair. There's some kind of weird hair thing that they do. If you think about dictatorial leaders in the past, they've always got some kind of bizarre thing that sets them apart from everybody else. It's like their logo. And I wonder if that's his logo. Well. Because he must know what he looks like, because there's pictures of him in every publication the whole world over, so he must see him.
Deflection. It could be the weave.
He must see.
Could be deflection.
He must see himself from the side where it's not blended in. I mean, you can't see yourself when you're looking in a mirror, but there's 8 million pictures are being printed of his face every day, so he must see at least some of them. So it's deliberate.
Yeah, I think it is. It's part of the plan. But don't you think money does strange things to people? Elon Musk started to look odd. Then there's the Bride of Windlestein. And that's what money does to you, Nick.
Yes.
And stop picking on Jan, okay?
Okay, it's a deal. Thanks a lot, Joanne. Robin Churchley says, Nick, we've seen what modern warfare is like from Ukraine and Israel, so now we know it is mostly from drones or missiles. The UK doesn't even have an anti-missile system, but we are buying American A-35 fighter bombers, F-35, I think, that would get shot down before they get to the targets. We currently can't keep the existing 35s in the air for lack of parts and experienced technicians. Yeah, I know. I do have detailed files about that. Glad you reminded me. I'll come to that in a minute, but I must take this call because this guy's been waiting for ages. Lester. Hello, Mark.
You all right?
Mark, good. Yeah, good, thanks.
The
Something you were talking about half an hour ago, Oasis, and that's kind of what I rang up about. But it connected with the heat and nature as well, because this morning, one from Rose's call about can't stand the heat. Me neither. So I went out about 7 this morning. I've got to go out while I can stand it.
Yeah.
And beautiful walk, took in the nature and the birds, walked by the canal. And then I went into the co-op, and this was playing. And it totally crushed my soul in an instant.
Hearing Oasis in the co-op crushed your soul.
Crushed my soul in an instant. And I thought, I'm not just not keen on this band. It was in that moment that I realised I actually cannot stand the dirge of it. And when people talk about the Beatles in the same breath as Oasis, it's like...
Oh, well, that's ridiculous. They're very...
Penny Lane, I mean, geez.
A day in the life. I mean, they're so far away from that, it's just comical. No, of course not. They're it's a dirgy band. They're like a one-note wonder. Every song sounds kind of the same. I mean, I get that it's a sing-along thing in a big stadium, but I couldn't listen to more than one in a row. I mean, sitting down and listening to a whole album of that. Oh,
I just can't imagine. I mean, okay, what's the song? Don't Look Back in Anger. That can be quite uplifting.
Yeah, I mean, as individual songs, okay. But not as a whole experience, not to stand there for 2 hours and have them drone on.
No. And by contrast, somebody I know had been to see Stevie Wonder this week. And, and I just thought, that's just the polar opposite to me. That's joyful. That's just, Stevie's music is just so joyful and uplifting.
Well, to me, the Stones and the Beatles ruled the 60s, and Stevie Wonder and David Bowie ruled the 70s as solo artists. Yeah, I mean, I think they were...
albums in the 70s.
Yeah.
Stevie was just...
amazing. It's like 5 of the best albums ever made in a row.
Yeah. Unbelievable. And when I went to see him in concert, people were shouting for, I just called Sailor.
Oh.
And I was like, no. We want another star. And, the 70s stuff from those classic albums.
Exactly.
Just, sublime. But I can't imagine ever feeling kind of uplifted from...
No.
Oasis music, really.
Not really. It's too down.
The delivery. The delivery of Liam.
Yeah, it's too down. It's too whiny and nasally, and no, it's not really for me. I mean, for the Battle of the Bands, I know it was confected in the Britpop days, but Blur are so much more interesting an outfit than Oasis ever was, and the solo material that Damon Albarn then went and made with Gorillaz and stuff like that was just fantastic and beat hands down anything that either of the Oasis brothers came up with subsequently.
Completely agree, and they were a lot influenced, I think, by XTC, who are one of my favourite bands. If you remember XTC much.
Yeah, XTC. I think the lead singer of XTC wrote some of the lyrics for Stephen Wilson's album, which I was talking about earlier on, which is called The Overview, which is very, very good. It's very good.
I have to check that out then.
Yeah, homework. All right, thanks a lot, Mark. 0345 6060 973. Rob... I read that. Robin Chertsey was going on about the F-35s. Well, here's that story. It's a bit embarrassing, really. Britain's multi-billion-pound fleet of F-35 stealth fighter jets are only able to fly a third of their missions due to shortages in personnel and spare parts.
What?
Yeah. A report by the National Audit Office said a lack of engineers and spare parts was undermining the armed forces' war-fighting capability. Hey, Vlad, can you wait a bit before you attack? We're not ready.
No.
The number of missions crews have been able to take on was approximately 1/3 of the Ministry of Defence's targets, And when the Ministry of Defence misses a target, that is serious because real targets shoot back. And the national shortage in skilled engineers to oversee the project has ultimately led to fewer flying hours for pilots. They haven't got the practice in. Despite the F-35s being trumpeted as significantly superior to all other UK fighter jets, the £11 billion, that's £11,000 million, already spent on the warplanes had delivered what they describe as a disappointing return. The MOD began taking delivery of these space-aged fighters built by US aerospace giant Lockheed Martin in 2012 as part of a global project run from Washington. Operating from the Royal Navy's two new aircraft carriers, HMS Queen Elizabeth and HMS Prince of Wales, the stealth planes are among the most sophisticated ever built. You probably heard Donald Trump go on about them. They are nobody can see them. They're totally invisible. What a numpty.
Don't be rude.
And we've committed to buying 138 of these things, of which 38 have been delivered, another 10 are on order, and there's no approved timetable for buying the rest. And get this, the Ministry of Defence expects its stealth jet fleet, which nobody can see, to remain in service until 2069. What? 2069. I mean, they're not in service now, and they can confidently predict that they'll still be flying in 45 years' time. And, you know, I'm no expert on this or any other subject. In fact, I know about as much as your average drunken American military leader. But I seriously doubt that something that's supposed to be cutting edge now will still be that in 45 years' time. I mean, what is 45 years old and still feels cutting edge to you? And our government recently revealed that it would be purchasing a further 12 F-35A variants capable of carrying nuclear weapons. Probably because the bleating Cheeto insisted on it for a huge and tremendous trade deal. I mean, we don't have the engineers to keep the ones that don't carry nuclear weapons in the air. What could possibly happen if we don't have the engineers to keep the ones that are carrying nuclear weapons in the air? I mean, good grief. And even if they could get in the air, we'd still be reliant on the US to deploy nuclear weapons from those jets if we felt like blasting a huge hole in something. We'd have to ask them first. Pretty pleased with sugar on top. And as the United States of America is currently being run by Emperor Palpatine hands and his grovelling band of misfits and ne'er-do-wells, that's not a very comfortable place to be.
I can be more presidential than anybody.
And so pilots who don't have flying time to be able to learn how these planes go are supposed to be the ones that are able to do just that, make them go. But they can't because they haven't got the flying time. And even if they did, we don't have the spares to keep them in the air. And so in a bid to address this, the MOD did exactly what you would expect. And they reduced the requirement for flying time from 10 hours to about 7.5 hours a month. But our pilots were still not able to meet this target in March of last year. And we don't know exactly how many flying hours they've had because the government has said it's not disclosing the actual figures on national security grounds. Well, I think the cat's out the bag. I mean, if you tell the world that our defence has serious flaws, there aren't enough pilots to fly the planes that we got, and even if they were, we don't have the spares to fix them. I mean, that's pretty much telling the world that we're not ready for war. I mean, can this get any more embarrassing?
Yes.
Yeah, actually it can. Because one of our F-35 super up-to-date, highly efficient and cutting-edge planes embarked on a trip on the HMS Prince of Wales, which, by the way, cost us £3.5 billion. It went to the Indo-Pacific, and it conked out. Because of course it did. And it's been stranded in India since the middle of June. I mean, I suppose we're lucky that the ship it was on didn't sink. And the plane can't be mended by anyone but us, apparently. And we haven't got the engineers to send over there to do it. So it's stuck there, in India, for the best part of a month, after breaking down. After it was forced to make an emergency landing at, and I'll have a go at this, Thiruvananthapuram Airport, which the Ministry of Defence would be able to find, except they don't know how to spell it. Which all sounds like a massive disaster, highlighted to us by the National Audit Office. And what did the Ministry of Defence have to say about this? Well, a spokesmodel for the MOD said, the National Audit Office's report rightly recognises the world-class capabilities of the F-35 fighter jet, as well as its significant economic benefits, including £22 billion of work for UK companies, creating thousands of jobs. Which just sounds like a load of numbers they pulled out of the air. And what does it matter how many jobs are created or how much money the weapons manufacturers will make? I mean, I'm sure they'll do fine. They always do. It's us poor defenceless dopes who pay taxes is what I'm concerned about.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott.
Shut up.
I can't. Speaking of which, this says, Hi Nick, I've been planning my survival kit for World War III. The government suggests a wind-up radio, water, tins of food, etc. I've just ordered 48 Frey Bentos steak pies, 100 tins of beans, 30 litres of water, a wind-up torch, a stove with gas, and a lead blanket for fallout protection. What's in your kit? I think Carol has 1,000 litres of rosé, and that's it.
Booze.
Yeah. What's in your survival kit? Says this anonymous person. Well, funny you should ask. I bought one of those gigantic multi-gallon jugs of water the other day, and it was surprisingly cheap. I'm just going to put it away in case I need it at some future point. But that's it. I mean, I think, you know, if we did get irradiated, it would probably be best to go straight away instead of, like, clinging on to life and, you know, the flesh falling from your bones. Sorry about that, but that's what happens. But Germany and France have sent out survival manuals, instructions for their people on what to do. Not in what to do in the event of war, what to do right now. I'll come to that in a minute. First, here is an important call in the West Midlands from a person called Ranjit. Ranjit.
Hi, mate. You okay?
Yes, good, thanks.
Yeah, good. I want to come on to survival kits in a minute, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. First, I'm going to give a name check to someone who contacted me on direct messaging.
Can't you just message them back?
I can, but I get worried, man, because, you know, I'm a bit worried about sitting by windows and, you know, getting on the bus or whatever now, you know, because I'm on the hit list because James O'Brien's first and then it's me and then it's you, yeah? And I think the way you're going today, I think you're at the top of the list. I think James O'Brien might have a reprieve and I think I'm...
Why? What have I said now?
It's all this Mussolini and everything you're saying about Trump. I mean, he's coming over in September, and then he's got 2 visits up here, right? And I reckon in one of the visits, I think if you don't turn up to do your show, I think there's a problem.
You'll know the reason why, yeah.
Yeah, it's like when they say Houston, there's a problem. You know, it's going to be global. There's a problem Nick Abbott isn't about.
Yes.
You know, but, you know, I would take the bullet for you. Okay, and so loads of many others.
I'll write that down. I'll hold you to that, Ranjit.
Okay. And the other one of the callers, I forgot his name. He himself chickened out of this bet. Yeah, right. I'm still a Labour supporter. I took some advice on what the Chancellor said, and the Chancellor said, if you're struggling, go and get a Saturday job. So I thought, you know what, I'm struggling. I think what I'll do is I'll stop my subscription of £5.84 a month. That might get me a couple of pints a month. Well, probably a pint a month. So
yes,
I've taken the Chancellor's advice.
Right.
And I think, you know, when you do stuff like that, but you still say I'm supporting you, they do take notice, right? And, you know, I'm a nutcase, will not be Prime Minister, and I'm going to double my bet now, Nick. I said, right, it was going to be that he will never be Prime Minister in the next general election or the one after that.
Yeah.
And I said, I would treat this fella who found, I can't remember his name, he's a good friend of mine because he always says nice things about, I would treat the both of you up to £500 each if Nigel Farage gets in. And if he doesn't, you gonna treat me?
No, I'm not going to get frog marched into a bet where I have to come up with 500 quid and sit and talk to you over dinner round French.
Well, at least you're honest. You're honest.
No way.
I'll tell you what. Then the three of us, right? If I win, we should do a podcast.
No, absolutely, definitely not. No.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. About survival kits, right?
Yes.
In 1994, 95, I was struggling in business, right, really badly, and I met this. He was an associate. He goes to me, Ranjit, you know why you can't get a job and you're not because you're fat and you're lazy? I think, well, okay, right. And he's a bit younger than me.
Not a friend, an associate. Right, okay.
Associate, yeah, he's about 10 years younger than me, right? He went, look, now, listen, I wanted to go and apply for a job, right? Say, I don't know, we a clothing shop, a big brand. He says, I went straight in to the office, to the guy on the counter. He says, now, listen, I want to speak to the boss. I want about a multinational company. He says, well, you can speak to the manager. He says, and I went there and I got an application form off him. I says, you met the boss of PPP, that company? He says, yes. And he was working in a branch, right? And he showed me this paper and, he filled it in, his application. He had no spellings or anything. A few years later, someone met him in Birmingham city centre, walking around with a suit and a briefcase.
Yeah.
And I said to him, he said, how you doing? He said, all right. He says, I'm off to work. He says, what's in the briefcase? And guess what he had in the briefcase?
Frey Bentos pies.
A sandwich. A sandwich, right? And two very strong cans of lager. That's all he had in there. And I met him a few years ago, right? And I'm not joking. He's a down and out.
Huh.
Right? I said to him, what's the matter with you? He says, well, I started drinking a little bit too much and I started doing this. I said, well, you was being a preacher one day to me, and I didn't want to be, smug with him.
Yeah,
right?
But you just couldn't help yourself.
No, I just left it where it was. I thought, you know what, the guy's struggling a bit now. But I was struggling at that time with a wife and two kids. I'm on about how Donald Trump now, right, he's so insensitive to other people and other countries, right? Sometimes it might come back to bite him, but I think he's probably gone beyond that, the amount of money he's made in the last year.
I just wonder whether anything will, because it seems his luck is so good. It seems like he's floated through life, never having any consequences come to anything that he's ever said or done. It's like he's made a deal with the devil. So, I mean, I don't actually believe in any of that stuff, but I can't come up with a logical explanation other than just it's a coincidence. He's just the luckiest human that's ever lived, and all he does is complain and complain and complain. And I just wondered if he's going to get away with it. He's going to be one of those people that just that passes on peacefully in the night, having never suffered any consequence for anything he's ever done. I think it's probably going to be like that.
I think the person that's got the golden key is actually King Charles, and he's non-political. I understand that, right?
Got the golden key? What do you mean?
On turning him off, right? Because if suddenly Donald Trump comes from a royal visit and the king isn't feeling very well and says, sorry, well, he's closed all the palaces to him at the moment, you know.
I don't think the king has got a choice in it one way or the other. The king will just do whatever the government tells him to do, and that's that.
What happens if he throws a sick note and says to, he says, Sakir, listen, mate, I ain't feeling well, right? I think I might have COVID.
Well, that's why there are so many of them. They'll just pop up another one. It'll be Wills Wills and what's it?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I'm losing this argument at the moment. But the thing
they've got reserves.
Yeah, they got reserves, right? And then, I don't know, they could have Camilla, or not even Camilla. But hang on, the thing is, people around the world right now, Donald Trump isn't bigger than the world, and I think that you've, alluded to that.
Well,
that he chickens out every time.
Yes, but if you take this on face value, if you think that what he's actually doing is try to rebalance trade in America's favour, I mean, trade is in America's favour, but if that's what you think that he's trying to do, well, he's going at it in a rather bizarre way. But if you think it's something else, and you think perhaps that the vast swings in the market that are the consequence of everything that he says and does, maybe that's it, because just before he makes one of these statements, markets move.
Yeah.
And minutes or an hour or a couple of hours before he actually says what he's going to do, someone bets on him doing just that. So there is someone or some people, plural, who have an idea of what it is he's going to do. Now, whether it's just they have a conversation with him and he just runs it by them and then they take a punt, well, that's one thing. But if it's that with a nod and the wink, then, I'm going to say this now, so short the following country or company, and you'll make $100 million today, then that's something else entirely.
Okay, was Elon Musk a victim of Donald Trump, or has he gained?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's like a match made in heaven. They're both as awful as the other. Ranjit, I'm going to have to go, but thanks for that.
Leading Britain's conversation, Nick Abbott. Alexa, send a comment to LBC.
Okie dokie.
0345 6060 973. Here is a call in Aberdeenshire. Catherine.
Hi, Nick.
Catherine.
Just a quickie to say that, do you call your electrifying fly swatter of death bat?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought you did. Anyway, I found my death bat today after many years, and I thought of you when I saw it.
So
it was wedged.
It's an electrified. It's like a tennis racket or one of them.
Tennis racket, yeah.
Like waffle bats with electrified strings, which zaps small insects, but only stuns larger ones.
Or you said maims wasps.
No, I didn't say maim. I said stuns.
I thought I heard you say maims when I tuned in.
Maim?
Because I thought you said that you do not maim insects.
No, well, I don't maim. Yeah, I stun them, exactly. But it depends how big they are. If it's a blue bottle, if it's like a housefly, then it will stun it and it will fall to the floor and it will think about what it's done for a moment and then it will get up and buzz off again. And same with a wasp. But if it's a clothes moth, then they pop in a very satisfying way.
Do they disintegrate?
Yes, they do.
Gosh, you use yours more than mine. But I've lost. It's been lost for a few years. But I will use it now. But I wondered if it would work on the big fat blue bottles, which are really annoying.
Yeah, they are annoying. It sends them to the floor and discombobulates them for a moment, so that you could.
They sometimes spin.
You could pick it up and throw it out, but it doesn't actually kill them.
Okay, yeah, because I was thinking if it didn't work on a wasp, they've got quite a hard casing around them, really, haven't they?
I don't know. I've never squashed one.
You think of it when you see a dead wasp.
Yeah.
They're sort of crunchy.
Oh.
Not that I eat them, but they are.
Crunchy like cereal.
It's like an outer skeleton, I think.
Yes.
I don't know.
Exoskeleton, isn't that what they're called?
I just wanted to share that with you.
Right, you just found your bat.
Yeah, wedged between an ironing board in the cupboard, because I usually do the ironing, not that this is interesting, but I usually do the ironing upstairs, and there is another ironing board upstairs, but I was downstairs watching the tennis, so I thought I'll get that ironing board out.
You do two boring things at the same time, watching tennis and ironing.
Boring! Actually, the doubles, it was the doubles, and it was not boring.
Huh.
It was really good. And do you know that we won?
Yes.
Britain won.
Yeah.
Oh, you knew that. Yeah.
Well, I only know
wasn't
that.
Boring.
Don't ask me what their names are or what they've done in the past. I've got absolutely no idea.
I don't know their names.
And please don't ask me to watch it.
No, but it is the men's final tomorrow, and it might be worth watching.
Oh, no, it won't. It won't be, no. Two emotionless robots bashing the ball from the baseline back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Or usually it's just they serve and it's an ace and then they walk to the other side of the court. It couldn't be more dull.
But it is two different ones. Djokovic is out now, so it might not be too bad.
Yeah.
But anyway, just quickly, so my bat was wedged. The ironing board was full, that covered with bags, carrier bags that I'll shove another one in and box it. I pulled all these things, and there was my Zappa bat.
Ah, there it is.
Bat, and I thought of Nick Abbott.
Yes, no doubt. What do you want to iron for? I can't remember the last time I ironed anything. Nobody irons things anymore.
No, you do have to iron some things.
Nonsense. Like what?
You do. I mean, otherwise, no.
Well, like what? What do you need to iron? T-shirts? Were you about to say T-shirts?
No.
Oh, my God.
I've quite... it's late, I can't think of the word, but yeah, quite happily telling you T-shirts.
T-shirts.
Even if the material goes smoothish, if you've had them hanging on the line, you can see where the pegs were. It's all crinkled up. It doesn't look nice.
Well...
I only iron what I have to iron.
Yeah,
pillowcases, no other bedding, but not the sheets and the duvet thing, but you have to do the pillowcases.
Why?
Well, they do look better.
Well, until you've slept on it for one night, and then it just looks all crinkled.
Mine are not too crinkled. I'm not a messy sleeper. I don't mess my pillowcases up.
Right.
No, my pillowcases don't look particularly crinkled. But no, and I think things feel better when they're ironed.
Well, that is true, yeah. But you have to go through the ironing process in order to make it feel better. I don't think the feel better actually justifies the ironing experience. No.
Ironing is good if you've got something like you say tennis is boring. And yes, ironing can be boring too, but you mix the two together.
Right.
And it comes out with something that's not too bad.
No, it sounds like
it's 100% boring.
Well, it sounds like it's doubly bad to me.
It's half.
Two wrongs don't make a right. Remember that, Catherine. Yeah. Well, I've got to go, but thanks for that. Found a bat. Quentin in Cornwall says, Nick, I'm listening with headphones. Does your studio adjoin a club on Leicester Square? Because I'm sure I can hear heavy dance music coming through your walls. Yes, it does. Turn that racket down, kids. Chris in Lewisham says, on the subject of the recent Glastonbury Festival, I recommend you check out Marabou State, featuring Tallulah Ruby. Well, I don't know anything about them, but I do like the sound of somebody called Tallulah Ruby. That just trips off the tongue. And Shahid says, Trump did say a few days ago, we're only here for a short time. No one from the media seemed to pick up on that, but maybe it was him accepting that his term in office will end just over 3.5 years' time. No, I think what he meant is that, life's short. I think that's what he must have meant. Not that he is only in that position for a short time, because it's going to seem like a really long time by the time the end, if we do ever get to the end. If we'd live that long, before that happens, it's going to seem a long time. It already seems a long time, don't it? Rory in Bermondsey. And let me just see how many, let me go ahead and see how many messages I've got. Oh, my God. There's so many. How can there be so many? It seems I just read and I read and I read and I never get to the bottom. Rory in Bermondsey says, I hate myself for it, but I constantly find myself ending up browsing the Mail online.
Oh, no.
I've noticed that every day they have an article saying someone is unrecognisable now, or you'll never guess who this is. I take the bait and I click, only to remember that what they're describing is actually called aging. Is this news? Yeah, no, Rory. And furthermore...
No.
No, it is not news. It is insufferable. I guess they must have, teenage work experience people, and it's just a format now. If you find a picture of somebody who is in their 50s or 60s, who used to be famous, then the story just writes itself. You'll never guess what such and such from a TV show that you might have watched in your youth looks like now. What, is it older? Yes. Alex in Norwich says, you're right about the crowd being old at Glastonbury. I think it's because old people are the only ones that can afford it. A couple of beers is about 20 quid and there's a tenner a pop for 3 triple-cooked rustic chips and extra for sauce. For that kind of money, you need to remortgage your house, and young people famously don't own houses. I mean, I guess I was watching some older acts, but it did seem like, to me, when they cut to the crowd, that it was a particularly old-looking crowd this year. Where were the younglings? Off doing youngling things. Les in Eltham says, politicians have always been involved with insider dealing. If your barber's up 30%, you might get a relation to do it. Then again, you're one of the super rich. That's okay. No. And that's a wide variety of thoughts all in the same text. Politicians have always been involved with insider dealing. Yes, I absolutely believe that that's right. And I think that's what the City of London depends on, insider dealing. That's how they make all that money and we can't, because they have knowledge that we don't. And if your barber's up 30%, you might get a relation to do it. What, you mean a relation of mine or a relation of the barber's? I wouldn't want a relation of mine touching my hair. Not now, not ever, never. But if the barber's got a brother or sister, then, why not? Give it a go. And this says the Mandela effect is named after Nelson Mandela due to a widespread false memory involving his death. Many people incorrectly remembered him dying in prison in the 1980s, despite his actual release in 1990 and subsequent death in 2013. Paranormal researcher Fiona Broom coined the term after discovering this shared yet inaccurate memory. Wow, the stuff you learn on this show. Educational, no?
No. This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Alexa, send a comment to LBC.
Come on, we're running late.
We are running late. This text says, on the subject of water in Spain, we live in a very rural area of Andalusia and the water comes to 35 euros every 3 months. So that woman that I was talking to last night who said her bill was 900 euros per month, she probably had a property in an urban area which may change all the prices, says that message. That does seem like a lot of money, doesn't it? Waltham Abbey. Hello, Jim. Yes, Jim. An ecstasy of fumbling. There you are.
Oh, sorry. Hello?
Yes,
Hello?
Jim.
Yes, hi. Firstly, brilliant shows. Fly zappers.
Thanks. Yeah, fly zappers. Yeah.
Yes. Well, I mean, you were talking about the bats and stuff, and yeah. I said to your researcher, I bought a zapper thing, the electric one, and personally, I'm not a Buddhist or anything like that. I was actually, but I was brought up Roman Catholic, but I don't really like killing things, even flies, but they do annoy me. So I bought this fly zapper, and I found it quite traumatising.
Really?
Because...
What, to the fly or you?
Me and the fly. Well, obviously the fly gets zapped, and...
But I'm right, though. It doesn't kill it, does it?
Not in there. Well, see, that's the thing. I thought initially it would be electrocuted.
Yes.
That's how they state it. No. If you get a big fly in there, it's almost like if you've ever seen The Green Mile, where the guy takes a long time to die.
Oh, God.
Yes, exactly.
Well,
And
my experience is that it doesn't kill a big fly. It just stuns it. It falls to the floor, and then in a couple of minutes, it's gathered itself and it flies off again.
Exactly. Well, it can't fly off because it's trapped in the cage. But I have seen semi-survivors, and that's even more traumatic.
Well, this phone call is traumatic.
I do apologise, sir. I just wanted to say that. So maybe, I don't know.
Well, how about clothes moths? What about clothes moths? I mean, you can't object to killing a clothes moth because they have got it coming. Am I right?
Having said that, how do I find them? Apart from in the clothes.
Right. Well, they flutter about. They flutter about, and the only way to get them is with one of those death bats, because you can't catch them with your hands because they become invisible.
Oh, okay. So, Nick, Mr. Nick, so what? You're just, well, not flying around, obviously, but, I mean, you're just swinging this bat around.
Yeah. Well, not casually, with aim and great care.
Aplomb.
Well, I don't know about that. I wouldn't get carried away.
Whatever.
I wouldn't say it was with aplomb, but with a certain amount of caution.
But there's nothing. Okay, sorry. So I thought I'll get the fly zapper because it's more humane.
Well, not the way you've described it. It sounds like torture.
Let's not go there again. I don't want to upset your listeners and or you. But having said that, contrast, I used to use fly spray.
Oh now, that's like that's chemical
poison gas.
Chemical warfare. That is
exactly,
and it's not going to do you any good either.
Or the cats.
But yeah, precisely. Yes, put that stuff away. Yeah, no, I wouldn't use that at all. I mean, that's if it's going to kill a fly, and it's an aerosol spray, then it's definitely not going to do you any good either. I wouldn't think.
It falls on me as well.
Yeah. Well, it'll fall on your surfaces, and then you'll make a sandwich on that surface, and you'll be eating it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I wish you all the best there, Jim. Sounds like you need to examine your fly correcting behaviour. Simon in Bray says, last week I went to the Chill Fest, where Heck Up 100, The Real Thing and Bad Manners played. My other mate was the Oasis concert in Cardiff. All the people on my WhatsApp group were more interested in getting videos from my festival than the Oasis gig. Yeah, well, it's because they just stand there with their hands, the singer, Liam, just stands there with his hands behind his back and his cagoule zipped up to his neck like he's not staying. There's nothing to look at. Ealing. Hello, Paul.
Hi, how's it going?
Good, thanks.
A huge fan of the show. I listen every week. Unfortunately, I work odd hours, so I catch up on catch up.
Oh, yes.
And I've been catching up on last night's show just prior to this show, so I'm sort of overlapping. And last night you mentioned about the Mick Jagger and David Bowie disaster that was dancing in the street.
Yes.
And I'm sorry you bought those trousers. I hope you managed to get a refund on them.
Well, I can't get in them anymore, that's for sure.
Well, I tell you what will please you greatly and will cheer you up. If ever you're feeling bad, Google or go to YouTube and look up David Bowie and Mick Jagger dancing in the street, musicless video.
Ooh.
So there's no sound on it, and basically, I mean, if you watch the video on mute, the dancing is somewhat spasmodic. I think we can probably agree on that. So basically, what somebody's done is they've muted the music on the video and they've dubbed the audio. So every time you see them move their feet, it's a sort of awkward squeak sound. And every time Mick purses his lips, he goes, oh, no. And it's absolutely, utterly hilarious. Because if you were to take the music out of the equation, what they are doing is utterly
It's
absurd.
awful, yeah, terrible. I mean, it looked like they were just making it up as they were. There was no preparation, there was no practice, there was nothing like that. They just said, okay, you've got us both for 1 hour tops, let's just get it done.
There's certainly no choreography, and if there was, I hope they got their money back.
Yeah, definitely.
It was absolutely, please, I know you don't like homework, I don't like homework, but it will, if you're feeling in a bad mood, just Google, or do it on the way home, just Google musicless dancing in the street, David Bowie, Mick Jagger, musicless music video. It is incredible. And after the success of that, the guy who invented them has done a bunch of them, but none of them are as good as that original one. It's
well, they were terrible movers, both of them. I mean, God, you know, Mick Jagger has got his own thing, but you can't hardly describe it as dancing, really. You just sort of...
it's a chicken walk. He looks like a turkey who's gobbling for Christmas.
And David Bowie was a terrible dancer. He always looked to me like he was uncomfortable on stage, and I think that's partly why he used to dress up in all that stuff and do the miming and all that stuff, is to sort of get past being uncomfortable on stage.
Well, I think that's, apart from the insane amount of artistry behind it, I think that was part of the reason why he had characters. And it's the same reason why some actors in real life are painfully shy.
Right.
But when they're in character, when they're playing somebody else, when they're absorbing a different character, it's quite easy for them to do it. And I think that's exactly the same. I think David Bowie was painfully shy in real life, from what I've read about his private life. He was fairly shy, and the idea of getting up in front of thousands of people exposed as himself was probably quite difficult. That's why he put on the clothes and put on the act.
It's a mask. Putting on a mask, and a lot of us had that experience during COVID. You put on a mask and it allows you to sort of come out of yourself and do things that you wouldn't ordinarily have done for fear of being looked at and pointed at and, you know, and embarrassing yourself.
Utterly. And I hope you'll accept the compliment, because I know you're famously curmudgeon at accepting compliments, but amazing shows, and really, I'm already looking forward to the A to Z. So I hope to God you don't get cut short again like you did last year. It was a few 2 days, I think, last year, but hope you get the A to Z full back this year. I'm already looking forward to it, and fantastic shows. I really appreciate
well, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot, Paul. 0345 6060 973. Did he just say curmudgeonly? This text says, I seriously can't cope with this heat anymore, Nick. 89 degrees today in Cheshire, and I just changed my sheets and the sweat's teeming off me. Well, I don't know who you are, but I have a message for you.
Stop whining.
Yeah, stop whining. I mean, I know it's hot and it's going to continue to be hot for the foreseeable future, but what would you prefer? 65 and raining? Because it can be. I think last summer was pretty dreadful, and the summer before that was pretty awful as well. And the one before that. You know, you go back to 2020 when we all were walking around in masks, and the spring was fantastic, but then the summer was terrible. And I only remember that because I was going through clips of old shows to do the other podcasts that I do, which is called the Nick Abbot Habit. And I didn't remember how bad the summer was. Clips of old shows, me talking about the weather, and, you know, not that I was complaining, you know me.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
And it did seem to be absolutely awful. After a really great spring, the summer was terrible. And we could have that. Still could, I suppose. I mean, you know, we've got August to go and half of July. Hey, you know what? That's actually good news. We've still got half of July and all of August to go. And September can be pretty nice as well. It's just we won't have any water to drink. That's all. We'll be fighting in the streets over a bottle of water or a nice cup of tea. I don't think I'm going to have time for this call, but I'll give him 30 seconds. North Carolina. Hello, Graham.
Real quick, I used to have one of those electric tennis rackets, but now I have a bug assault. And the bug assault is like a shotgun that shoots salt. It does a number on the moths for sure.
Right. How accurate do you have to be?
Not very accurate at all. I mean, you can't shoot them from 10 feet away, but yeah, it's a pump action salt deliverer.
This is one of those occasions when the phrase "only in America" is appropriate.
Well, it's Second Amendment, right?
Right. Well, I guess so. Yeah. Well, those flies.
And the more insidious is than wool moths are the moths that come out of the rice, the weevils that are in the rice. You experienced that?
Right.
I mean, yeah. And you put the rice in a jar for a couple of months to keep it right, and then you open it up and the moths fly out.
Yeah, well, that's another excellent reason not to eat rice. I must note that down. A pump-action shotgun for flies. Huh. Excellent work. Thanks a lot, Graham. 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 Thanks a lot, Graham.